So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This is Matthew Bailey alongside my critiquing partner in crime, Ricardo Medina.
Hello, hello, hello.
And this is another episode of Beers, Beats, and Bailey. We were supposed to actually bring out this episode a few days ago, right after the end of Comic-Con, but, to use a word that Ricardo uses a lot, shenanigans just came in the way.
Yeah.
So, yes, we are going to talk about most, if not all, of the the big Comic-Con trailers that came out last weekend.
Right.
Yeah. Alongside a show that we managed to see before the time of this recording, Batman: The Killing Joke, the long-awaited film adaptation of the much-beloved graphic novel of the same name.
Yep.
And last week's releases, which were major film releases, which were Ghostbusters and Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. And boy, we have a lot to say about those, especially Ghostbusters.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So first things first, we'll just jump into the Comic-Con trailers.
Right.
All right. Well, for me, I actually started watching them Saturday night. I was actually watching I was watching Star Trek Beyond and Ghostbusters. So by the time I came back home, I was like really tired, and then I just saw the first one for Justice League, and then Wonder Woman, and then it was just like it was like this drug thing. It was like one thing after the next, after the next, after the next.
Yeah.
So I just had to stop for a while, like, oh gosh, okay, let me breathe for a bit. But thoughts on, well, all right, before we get to Comic-Con trailers, I wasn't really following up too much on what went on. I know there was some live YouTube broadcasts of it. I saw the one for the Marvel panel. I only saw like glimpses of it, so I didn't really know everything that went on. But Ricardo, you know anything that went on with the Comic-Con apart from the trailers?
Not really. Well, trailers, they just had a bunch of announcements. So Brie Larson is now Captain Marvel, it's official.
Right, yeah, I heard of that.
A bunch of stuff, a bunch of casting stuff. What news coming out? A bunch of news stuff, like what they want to do with it. Kevin Feige talk about what Spider-Man could be. Say it could be akin to a Harry Potter style franchise, which is him going through school.
Really?
Yeah. There's a bunch of things. What else? A bunch of like real news, Dread. Like just news dumps mostly. It had as I said, the list of trailers. Not only comic stuff, but now we getting the second in the kind of quote unquote big monster universe where Kong Skull Island came out.
Yes. I saw the trailer for that.
And that is in the same universe. From what I understand, is the same universe as
Godzilla.
Yeah, the 2014 Godzilla.
Yeah, which is actually quite clever though, because I see they're trying to set up their own Toho monster movie universe.
I want to see that. To me, you want to do it right, and just make it look good. And Kong in this is huge. It's like one of the biggest Kongs ever. I understand he's very, very big. It's set in the Vietnam War, so everybody making kind of Apocalypse Now jokes.
Yeah, no, but dude, the visuals were just screaming Apocalypse Now. And the thing is, I didn't pick up it was the Vietnam War. I was thinking, wow, this really looks like Apocalypse Now. I'm loving this, but I didn't know it was set there. So that wow.
I saw all of that. It has so much things I kind of forget halfway.
Yeah, well, I kind of make a note of the ones that's still the most to me. I kind of wrote it on order as I watched them. First of all, I saw I think this is the final, but they call it the official Comic-Con trailer for Suicide Squad.
Right.
It runs for like about 2.5 minutes long, and we get this song with Skrillex and Rick Ross that caught me completely off guard. So like there's 3 songs playing, and then I'm hearing Rick Ross. I'm like, what? Okay. Right. But yeah, for what I'm seeing here with this trailer, can't wait for Suicide Squad to come out. Looks really good.
Right.
What else? The Justice League trailer came out, and we could argue about this, but I find it looks interesting. Not mind-blowingly awesome, but it looks like, looks good. Yeah.
Here's the thing, because Batman v Superman poisoned the world so much, I just incredibly skeptical about all of that.
Wait, what about the tone? I mean, it does have a kind of lighter tone. I mean, that's good.
Well, they got jokes now, so they're trying a little something, and I still not on board with this. I don't know what they're gonna do. We'll see. Look, when the movie come out, it'll come out. But whatever. To me, I just not particularly impressed with Justice League, this new one.
Yeah, I think the highlight for me is Aquaman, hands down. More the way how he's approached the kind of resentment he has for Bruce Wayne. That's cool, and of course the moment with Flash, that was really awesome.
Right.
Just find that some of these scenes run a little too long, so it's kind of giving away the jokes. So by the time the movie comes, I was like, yeah, I saw that. That was it was way funnier the first time I saw it, but now seeing it on big screen,
The new Flash, not particularly. Again, just everything that's kind of underwhelming for me. The new Flash, like the effects they have for Flash looking okay, so he's seeing everything slowly. They kind of get a sense of him being very lonely because he say he needs friends, so quote unquote, meaning that for one regard is that he can't slow down now, from what I understand. So everything he sees everything in slow motion or more or less now. So it's him kind of controlling himself. It's kind of like Quicksilver from Age of Ultron.
Okay, I thought you meant X-Men, but I guess same thing.
Yeah.
It's more or less, yeah.
Yeah, everything that's slowing down. And what else? I can't say. Look, it looking okay. I'm not particularly impressed with it, but again, you could tell they're kind of going out of the way to avoid the problems Batman v Superman had. So, whatever. Batman.
Sorry, but I thought you were going to jump into the next trailer, which is Wonder Woman, which impressed the hell out of me. I love that trailer.
This wasn't so half. I don't think this was half bad. I thought it looked pretty decent.
And of course we had that awesome theme song. Yes, I really like Wonder Woman's theme song.
Yeah, the theme song from Batman. What is this? Electric cello, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that. I love that. It's catchy as hell.
Yeah.
And I like how they're setting up the story, how it looks, how it feels. The moments of humor and stuff. They don't linger too much on the humor. It's just really setting up this story and this grand stage, and I'm loving what I'm seeing.
I want to see what they'll do with the plot. I really personally hope the plot is more supernatural than anything. But if she's just fighting soldiers, that wouldn't make much sense to me. But whatever. Yeah. That's a straightforward story. I would like to see her fight Ares in this. Because he's the god of war, and it's quite possible he's involved. They'll have him probably involved with the World War One. So it's, in a sense, he kind of caused World War One or something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people are gonna compare this Street of the Bat to Captain America, the First Avenger, but I don't care. And that's kind of the template. Yeah, the template they're going for. She gets a movie, and then we get a Justice League, just like how Captain America got his movie, and then we got Avengers. Yeah. Same kind of thing. We're getting both movies in the same year, right? Of course.
Right. Okay. Well, that's another mistake. They keep pushing stuff out. Whatever.
Yeah. Lego Batman movie.
Right, looks funny. Looks
funny. I love the pop culture references, and it's just snapping fingers, just one joke after the next. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a trailer, but just keep hitting you with all these notes, like with Robin's outfit. I love that.
Is it the same guys who did the Lego movie? The same writers.
It looks so. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
And same voice actor, Will Arnett, of course.
Will Arnett, yeah.
Yeah, but I believe it's the same people that were involved, and loving what I'm seeing. The use of the song Black and Yellow from Wiz Khalifa. Yeah. Perfect choice, by the way. That was clever. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that they're not giving you too much about the story. It's just, this is the world, this is the character, this is how quirky these characters are, so thoroughly impressed thus far.
Yeah.
Well, we could stick with Warner Brothers. So, we mentioned Kong Skull Island. Love how it's looking so far. The really eerie Apocalypse Now kind of setback. I love that. Yeah. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, caught me completely off guard. Well, here's the thing. Like, at first I was watching, like, okay, where's this going? They're trying to do a kind of Hercules kind of vibe where you're taking this familiar character and then you're flipping it over and being self-referential. And then I saw from director Guy Ritchie, I'm like, oh, okay.
I was
watching the trailer came up and then the song, I was like, okay, this looking awesome now. Right.
I was just watching and I was like, this reminded me of Sherlock Holmes. I was like, oh, Guy Ritchie, okay.
Yeah, so as soon as that name pops up and the song comes, like, okay.
Right.
You get my hair now, right.
I just kind of, that trailer come and gone for me. I didn't really care. That wasn't the, but stuff, Marvel only put out one big trailer because they showed Spider-Man stuff from what I understand.
Yeah, they're on to seeing that, and of course Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Right, they show Guardians of the Galaxy 2 stuff, but we didn't get to see thing. Well, we know Kurt Russell's character now. He's playing Ego, the Living Planet, which is a really out there character, really crazy stuff.
Not familiar with that.
Right, yeah, no, like Guardians, all the Guardian stuff you should largely be unfamiliar with. Most people aren't. You have to kind of go to your way. The majority of people, I'm sure, will have to go to the way to read Guardians and catch up with that material. I heard Yondu's getting his fin now, which is great. I think they're adding 3 Guardians to the storyline, which is Yondu, I forget the other Angel character name, and then Nebula, I think, joining them as well, or at least for a short period of time. So 2 characters who were kind of villains in the last movie, going to be kind of good guys or kind of halfway good guys for this movie. None of the Guardians are good guys anyway, so, you know.
Right. Well, they're anti-heroes pretty much, right?
Right, right, pretty much.
Well, on the subject of Marvel, we could talk about Doctor Strange, that second trailer, which I saw Saturday night, I think, right? I think it was around 11 o'clock in the night, it just came out. Saw it, loved the visuals, I love that sort of reality-bending kind of thing, I love that.
I love two things. I love they have a new Marvel logo now, so it's Marvel Studios.
Yes, I saw that. So yeah, and they changed the logo, so Marvel gonna do the same thing. Yeah.
Right, and they did that, and then to introduce the Doctor Strange trailer, they do this cool kaleidoscopic effect of it bleeding, and that looked great. The trailer looked great. It's still story wise, it's a straightforward storyline. It's Iron Man all over again, I think, but it's just magic this time.
Yeah, and I love the last line, with the Shambhala, what's this? My mantra.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
Right. Yeah, but they look like they're hinting at Chiwetel Ejiofor playing Maran Mordo, who's a big villain. But
he is. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the characters or the
right. But the way how they're gonna do it is that he's a good guy in this, and that the general story is that he's jealous of Strange kind of come out of nowhere and become the Sorcerer Supreme. And then he kind of rebel against that. But what I'd like to make his character more interesting is instead of him being just jealous, but he has a kind of utilitarian bent to him. So I get that feeling that he's going to do something bad for the greater good, and Strange is not going to like that, or maybe the Ancient One not going to like that, or something like that. Okay. And that's why he'll be a villain. That's why I heard a little 2-piece of dialogue that make it, and it sounded like Chiwetel Ejiofor saying it, of something along the lines of doing something utilitarian. To do something.
Right.
So I feel that that's why that's his villain turn there.
Yeah, but what about this guy though? I forget his name. Mads. Yeah, Mads. I forget his name, but basically the guy from Hannibal. Yeah. He's not going to be like the main villain in this because we assume he's a villain because
but I get a feeling that he's going to have an interesting story. They might defeat him, or he'll be a bad guy, but he might do some. Chiwetel's character might do something to defeat him or kill somebody. Maybe we're not sure. So you may get hints of him being a villain or him being an outright villain. We're not sure. That's my kind of 2-cent speculation on the matter. Right. But yeah, the Inception stuff, the comparisons to Chris Nolan is there, but
of course, yeah, and those visuals are
look great. Totally seeing this, and this is totally an IMAX run for me.
Yeah, most def.
Yeah.
There's another great one. I believe it's Netflix exclusive for Netflix and Marvel. It's called Legion.
Yes.
I really don't know what to make of it, but it looks weird as hell.
It's FX actually.
Sorry?
FX, not that.
FX. Okay, I thought it was a Netflix.
Yeah, basically it's X-Men. It's X-Men characters, and we're gonna get basically an X-Men universe here because they're just straight up saying the word mutant. So
and you saw the X within the O in Legion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's Legion. So Legion is a big part of X-Men storyline and narrative. I
don't know about that.
Right. No, I'm not the biggest fan of Legion, but I'm just it's ancillary kind of in peripheral stuff in terms of the X-Men universe, but it's still great stuff. It looked great. I have no idea how it'll turn out. It looks.
Although that dance number scene in the middle of the trailer caught me off guard. I was like, okay, this is weird, but I'm liking this. I want to see. What else? But before we get to the TV show thing, we forgot to mention. I know. Well, all right. Well, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but I will admit that the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them trailer looks really good.
Great. Yeah, that looks good.
Nice little pre-Christmas flick. Looks really good. All right. Well, we can just jump back to Marvel now. And what else? Well, all right. You mentioned Walking Dead. I didn't see anything for Walking Dead.
Right.
I think normally when I see trailers, they always block them for some reason. So.
They had. I saw it fine. I just saw a trailer for that, so that was the thing for me. That was nice.
And does it hint at Negan or his presence?
Right. Yeah. It's a big Negan trailer. They didn't really show anything, but they just show. Of course, they didn't show who gets killed. Like we know. we know who gets killed in the comic, but in the TV show, we have no idea what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So
right.
a big switch up there. But that trailer is a solid trailer. I really like it, actually.
All right, I'll look it up. Maybe I should find it.
Yeah.
What else? Well, speaking of TV, we saw a slight little teaser, for Daredevil season 3.
Right.
Clever, interesting.
Yeah.
You know how they did that. That was cool. Defenders as well. I like how they did that. You know.
Yeah.
Not giving you away too much. Luke Cage though. Luke Cage was my thriller because ODB shimmy shimmy yeah. So as soon as that beat came in, my head was just nodding.
Yeah.
And just seeing that with the action sequence, phenomenal. I love that.
Yeah. And then the last trailer, a big trailer that they cut back to is for TV, The Flash.
Yes.
Flash 3rd season trailer looks great.
Yes. The Flashpoint Paradox. I love
Flashpoint Paradox narrative.
Yeah.
Right, so the thing is, it's very similar. I get the feeling they're going to do something very similar to Earth 2, where everything is changed, the characters are different, but in a different way. It's Barry changing the timeline where now his mother and father are still alive, and how that plays out for him.
Yeah.
And I would really want to see what they're going to do with this.
I heard apparently that Arrow, this season 5 that's coming out, is going to be within that same universe too. As how Barry affected things. It affected that show too. I haven't seen it because still following up on Arrow, so I don't want to, I don't want to be, I don't want anything spoiled for me,
Right, so you might bring back who should be dead or not, maybe. No, but this the Flashpoint Paradox, I don't expect it to last too long. I
was expecting it to last for like a whole season though, and then
I expect him to solve it like within 5 or 6 episodes. I expect him to solve the problem, and then
like a mid-season something.
I feel he'll do something like I don't feel it'll be the whole season. It might be. Because that's like a big thing, but I don't know. I don't know what he'll do. But I get a feeling that they might sort it out by episode 7. Might sort it out. Hopefully.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we forgot to mention the Iron Fist trailer, which I saw and I was like, okay.
I'm not too hype over it. It had to come when it come because it's not something that I get that they have to put it out as promo stuff. But compared to the other big stuff, especially the Luke Cage stuff, was just so much bigger in my opinion because it just coming out just now.
Yeah.
And first, go take the time. I'm not really that hyped over it, too.
Yeah. And also, too, well...
What they'll have to do is I feel Iron Fist will have to time with Doctor Strange. So when they do Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange will be the big kind of introduction to that magic side to things now.
Right.
So when we see how that stuff works, or at least the foundational explanation behind that stuff, then Iron Fist will have an easier way to squeeze it down. Because they can't just drop Iron Fist just so.
So kind of like how they will do like Luke Cage coming out later on this year, and then that will lead into Daredevil and probably a new season of Jessica Jones, I think, and then Defenders right after. Well, all right, Iron Fist and then Defenders right after that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, proper planning, I guess.
Right.
We forgot to mention too Star Trek Discovery. Yes, it has changed the title now. I was like, all right. Seeing the ship, the USS Discovery.
All right. That ship is who did that ship? That ship design is actually a really old design they were supposed to do for a second Star Trek season from since the time of the TOS. But they had a lot of so it's who's this guy's name? Macquarie, I think is his name. The old Macquarie design. And you get a feeling that that Enterprise looks like if the Klingons designed it.
All right.
It looks like a Federation ship, but designed by the Klingons. That's kind of what they were going for. Personally, I hate that design. I'm glad they never went with it. But
so I could assume now that the timeline, the setting of this new series is going to be after the old series, after the original series end.
But no. I have no idea what they're going to do. From what I gather, it's meant to be between Kirk and Picard. So
that's kind of like what I meant, yeah. Between TOS and Next Generation.
Right, pretty much, yeah. And that is a big chunk. That is a whole chunk of time. That's like at least some odd 90 years or so. So I would like to see what they will do with it. From what I understand, it seems to be before Enterprise B, which was the ship we see at the beginning of Star Trek Generations.
Which I haven't seen in ages, by the way. I only saw that once. Forgot about it. I know it's forgettable, but
you don't need to watch it over. It's a terrible movie. But the thing is, I personally never liked that design, but they seem to be going with it. And well, it's a demo. It's not really a finished product or anything like that. So it clearly looks terrible. But for now, it's unfinished. So I'm not really fighting that down. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know what they're gonna do with it or how they'll make it interesting. But we'll see. The writers better do something good. And I heard there was something strange about it where it's CBS on an online kind of streaming scene or something like that. So you have to pay $4 to see it online. That to me too cumbersome. Just put the damn thing on TV now.
Yeah, what's the point? I mean, put it out on TV. Let everyone see it. If they wanna watch it online, then pay for it.
Yeah, cool. No, but give it to Sci-Fi or something. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know why.
What didn't CBS originally air Star Trek when it first came out?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Right, that's the idea, right?
Hype yourself now. I don't know what they're doing with it. It is looking at they don't have confidence in the material, and I don't know. I get the feeling that this gone run into some trouble.
Let's hope not. I mean, you're seeing this resurgence in interest in the Star Trek franchise.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Let's not derail it because of a TV show.
Right. A lot of people like Star Trek as a franchise, especially from a zeitgeist kind of worldview kind of standpoint. A lot of people kind of switch into that very positive approach to the future now. A lot of people kind of get fed up with this post-apocalyptic stuff kind of starting to get kind of lame now.
Yeah, I will actually see this much though as a non-Trekkie. I'm actually into Star Wars more.
Right.
One thing that I give the franchise credit for is that with every decade, they always find some kind of way, whether it's by movie or by film or by video game or some kind of thing, to bring some interest or a new spin on the Star Trek formula now.
Yeah. Right.
And even with this take now, we'll talk about it later, of course, with Star Trek Beyond, this new interest, this more fast-paced thing.
Right.
It'll be interesting now, with this TV show coming up here, if they try to go back to the original, the original way of how things were.
Right.
Even if it's the original series or, the next generation, I'm imagining it's going to be just like those. So I just want to see, I can't wait to see how they're going to play that out.
Yeah, I really hyped up. I'm glad for this. I mean, in the end of the day, I'm not one of those bitter old school Trek fans. I never consider myself truly old school, but I realize that I'm more old school than others. And
because you appreciate the franchise for what it was, the roots of it, yeah.
But a lot of people have this attitude of, well, they prefer no Trek than what we're getting right now, and that is a horrible attitude to have. I prefer some Trek that you could work with. The franchise needs to be alive. It needs to have money pumping into it, stuff like that. And it's just a practical kind of argument, unfortunately. And you could get into that debate about, if you prefer no franchise over what you could get, and that's interesting kind of back and forth.
That's something I could ask you about, with this new one here and Beyond.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that. I mean, it's something that with the last two movies I was, with.
Anyway, we'll argue about those last two movies as well too. And just to close things off. Well, this is not really a Comic-Con trailer, but I saw it a couple of days before Comic-Con. I believe it was Thursday or Friday I saw it. We're getting a new Blair Witch movie, and I am actually impressed by what I'm seeing. I'm like,
I saw that.
What? Okay.
Yeah, that was like that was a bit of a surprise as well. I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
for me, the original Blair Witch
visceral approach.
Right. For me, the original Blair Witch was some overrated nonsense. I was never a fan of that. I got why it was popular. But I was like, yeah, this is real nonsense, dude. This is a waste of my time. And, grossly overrated. But I would like to see what I saw, I liked. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to see what they could do with it. Again, you always give people a chance. So you see what they could do. Yeah,
and also like the call back to the old film with, I'm so sorry. You only heard it when you saw the title card. I was like, right, that's clever. Yeah. Cool. All right, so that's all that with regards to trailers that I saw. I know there were a couple others like Snowden. I didn't get around to watching all of it. I mean, I saw the first trailer, like, all right, not really that big on seeing Snowden. It might be good. I mean, I'm not, knocking it down, but it's not really grabbing me that much for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Snowden is a person who, in real life, is a person that kind of interesting. If you kind of follow the politics and you're kind of into that, you would kind of be into it. But as all of us don't say, he's that kind of guy. Right? You know where you're going. And this movie, I think, the problem is the casting. I'm just not into Joseph Gordon-Levitt that much.
He has talent, but he's not. Yeah, like, oh my God!
He's a guy I like, but I don't like all that much. And he himself not pulling me into it. It's reasonably well shot. It looks cool. Cinematography solid, that kind of thing. But I'll see it when I see it.
Yeah, same here.
Right.
All right, so we could move on now. Well, all right. Well, we could start talking about since we were talking about comics and all that stuff, we could jump into Killing Joke.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give like a brief little rundown as to what it is about.
Right.
That's for those who don't know. And then, I want to hear your thoughts on it first, and then I will share mine because I want to get a little analytical with it, right?
Yeah, so. It was an interesting piece, but I'll run through it and then I'll make my 2 cents. Yeah.
All right. So The Killing Joke is the quote-unquote long-awaited film adaptation of the much-beloved 1988 graphic novel of the same name, written by Alan Moore. Alan Moore wrote such masterpieces like V for Vendetta, and of course Watchmen, probably the best graphic novel I've ever read. Yep. And speaking of Alan Moore, I know he's a guy that doesn't really like it when Hollywood takes his stories and adapts them into film.
He's a bit of a curmudgeon.
Yeah, case in point, I think the first one was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
which
wasn't the worst show in the world, but I could see why he didn't like that.
Right.
And then Watchmen, which I love, best movie of 2009. Right. And I know he was really divided over V for Vendetta, especially the way how they twisted into this more modern take, touching on homosexuality and prejudice, resulting from that, and different modern topics. I know how we got turned off by that. I don't know what he thought about this one here. I know he wasn't involved, of course, but this is within the whole Warner DC animated franchise. It's directed by Sam Liu. I forgot the other films that he made within the whole Batman Superman series, movie series thus far. But yes,
Sam Liu, his name is almost on everything. It's on stuff I love and on stuff I hate.
Yeah, I know, right.
So it's not like I don't really.
He did Under the Red Hood. Yeah, you have to remember that. It's not like that for me.
Yeah, but he also did a bunch of stuff I didn't really care for either. But he's a good, solid director. It's not like he's not like somebody who is like, oh well, he's just this mess. And no, Sam Liu fine.
Right.
This movie.
There was wrong, and then I'll get to it. Right. So it reunites, of course, Kevin Conroy, everyone's favorite Batman voice actor. Mark Hamill, everyone's favorite Joker actor. Voice actor.
Yeah.
Tara Strong as Batgirl. Mm-hmm. And what they do, they just basically take the story of, basically the premise is Joker captures Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
And it's all done in this very, I don't want to say violent, there is a brutal event that pretty much shocked everyone when they first read it back in 1988. Yeah. And it still lingers on today, just that shock that happened. And the idea with it is that Joker wanted to make Commissioner Gordon go insane. It's that same thing that they touched on with Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, where Joker feels as if one bad day. You take somebody who believes in this rigid thing called law and order, and you just strip it away from him, and then he becomes a madman. And then Batman intervenes, and then it's just that back and forth between those two, and then at the same time, which makes it even more interesting, we get this backstory into how Joker became who he was, and at the same time, while they were looking at this madman doing all this crazy and violent stuff, you actually sympathizing for this guy. You realize, like, oh my goodness, he really was this poor damaged soul, and then this accident happened where he fell into that vat, and then
as the original read, yeah.
So it's like I say, great graphic novel, one shot graphic novel. It's not long. It's just, I think it's like about 24 pages or whatever. I've read it years ago and I love it. If you haven't read it, guys, definitely check it out. And I would say, before I get to you, Ricardo, it wouldn't hurt if you actually read the book or get some familiarity with the book before jumping into this movie, because I think it will help in your enjoyment or lack thereof of this movie. But Ricardo, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this wasn't the masterpiece I wanted it to be, but I didn't.
No.
I didn't hate this. So I'm gonna just get into like the problems, and it have two major problems.
Yeah.
The first major problem was they decided to put this big Batgirl narrative in and around the film.
Right. I'll talk about that. Okay.
Right. And so the first, I don't know, half hour or so is this
half hour, yeah. Half hour.
Right. Is this big Batgirl narrative. Now here's the problem. They did it kind of halfway, a bit half-assed. They kind of did that because they decided to establish Barbara Gordon as a figure and connect her to Batman, and they had a big kind of thing with her and Batman, which is not the newest concept, but it's very rarely done. A particular relationship you had with Batman, and again, the problem with this is that they didn't even. Now here's the thing: if you're doing it, now you try to do it as a full narrative, and then in place, and then put the Killing Joke thing, so it will work a little better. We didn't get a proper bookend with her and with her. So putting in this feel a little clumsy, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really flimsy connection at best to say, oh well, this is what happened in the book, and this is how we're gonna establish Batgirl as a character, so it'll make it more important, kind of.
Yeah. Which I'll talk about too.
Right. I thought that didn't really work all that well. And then the second problem I had was it didn't adapt itself very well from an editing standpoint to a film format. So
okay.
It felt really kind of this kind of disjointed kind of approach, like if you're reading a comic now, which is not the best idea if you're doing an adaptation, because it's not a comic, it's a film now. Mm-hmm. You need to, fill it up, fleshy, little better editing and these kind of things. That stuff just didn't connect. It had this one part where he give the guy some gas when he shake his hand, and it didn't connect. That they just do it too sudden. Now again, in a comic, it will follow because you're just watching panel to panel. But in an edit, you're supposed to see against a good moving, illustration from point A to point B, and you didn't get that.
Yeah, it did feel jarring when they cut to that shot of that guy turned into that Joker thing.
Yeah, so a lot of it didn't flow in terms of the story and the narrative, and they keep cutting back to his backstory, which worked for the most part. And I'll say the last 10 minutes or so is very good. Right? Last 10 minutes I thought was very, very good. I don't hate this. And it's certainly not amongst the best, but I can't say I can't say it's amongst the worst either, because but it's not even in between, because it does its own thing now.
Yeah.
But I'll give it, I don't know, it's an interesting score. I'll give it, but give it 2 cents on this now.
All right. I'll try not to be too long with it, because all right, when I watched it, right, it was actually yesterday of the time this recording. I do agree that, that first half hour with Batgirl was, because at first you're thinking, okay, is he killing Joke? And after the first half, it was like, where is Joker? Where's Joker?
Yeah.
Where's Joker?
I thought for a second they were gonna turn the guy who they had this mobster guy who was this real smart badass, and I thought he was
Paris
Joker,
France. Yeah,
right.
That's his name.
And I was
Paris
like,
France.
they're gonna give him because the man real smart, he knew where Batgirl's sleeping gas was and all kind of thing. I was like, how this man so smart and competent, Judd? Yeah. And it's like, what are you gonna do with this character now? And it didn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, they just kind of threw it away, but yeah. But all right, yeah. So and then the Killing Joke section takes place. It takes up the rest of I believe it's 45 minutes, because the movie runs for like about 72 minutes.
Right.
I'm like, okay, now we're picking up. But while I was watching this stuff, and then I was remembering from the story. I don't know it by heart, but I was seeing things unfold on screen. Like, okay, I remember what's going on, and I was keeping in mind of how edgy they were trying to be with this story. The risks that they were taking. I was being impressed. Yeah. But all the while I was always going back to that first half hour. This whole thing between Batgirl and Batman, that relationship thing, what's going on there.
Right.
And then when it ends now, when you see that end credit, I was like, all right. I didn't enjoy it as much as all that, okay. And then we have this little mid-end credit scene, which I won't spoil, involving Batgirl. Like, okay, so at least it kind of went back. I was wondering, okay, they're going to end this thing, they're going to go back to Batgirl at some point in time. All right, they did, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit, they bookended it in a workable way. I knew they had to kind of do that, but...
well, the way I see it is kind of like, okay, well, this is the animated DC universe, so we have to kind of link it to a sequel. What gave me is that I was thinking with the last one that I saw, Batman Bad Blood.
Right.
The last shot apparently, the last shot was with Batgirl.
Right.
So I kind of assumed that this Killing Joke was a continuation from Bad Blood. I didn't. Yeah,
I kind of don't really get that, but yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Right. So I was still thinking about, what did that half hour have to do in anything? Right. I started to think. I was thinking about the overall theme, of the Killing Joke itself, and then it started to piece together, but slowly, not perfectly, of course, but I started to kind of understand. And it's all in relation to this joke that the joke that Joker says, right? And what it means, or at least figuratively what it means.
This is what the flashlight joke, right?
Yeah, the flashlight joke.
Right.
So it's kind of like you're in this position in your life, and you find yourself in this position, in another position. Either, like, let me just say, like, well, all right, well, a perfect example of this. This is a small scene, but one scene that'll just fly past people. There's a moment where, right after the moment where Batman and Batgirl, consummate, in that moment that, had the internet going like, what? There's a moment where she was talking to a friend and then she comes outside the library and there's this guy outside the library. He's arguing with his girlfriend saying, you're cramping me. I'm not getting any room to breathe. I need space. And then Batgirl grabs her and say, here's space or there's space, right?
Right.
So think about just that for a moment. Just that person in the relationship. They're thinking everything is fine. But the relationship is leading into something else, which is marriage. Right. But there's this obstacle, which is, okay, the girlfriend is all up in his face or whatever, and he just needs some time. He needs to separate himself from her. So he kind of builds this wall. I'll use the wall as a metaphor, between him and her just for a time being, just for him to get his stuff together, and then he will decide whether he wants to move on or not. Now, if you look at Joker, for example, and that story, that backstory with where, he was about to do this job, and, it was about taking care of his wife at the time, and then the police come and tell him, well, his wife died, and then the criminals come and tell him, the two guys told him, well, you can't back out of this now.
Right.
Now, he could have just choose and say, well, all right, I really can't do it. But then he would have died. They would have killed him. Right. But he went along with it, and then look what happened. One thing led to another. He fell and became Joker. So, all of his humanity is like basically gone now. But then, if you remember, near in the end of the actual film where Batman says, I can rehabilitate you.
Yeah.
Joker says, no, I don't want you to do that, So it's kind of like he's in the middle. He's in the middle of this moment. Like right now, this Joker persona is the middle of his life right now. Yeah. And he could either stay in that moment or move on, get rehabilitated. But he's like, no, I want to stay right here. And that goes back to the joke with, the two prisoners escaping. One of them has a flashlight, and the guy without the flashlight tells the woman with the flashlight, shine this part, this beam for me to see.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, no, because I know at some point in time you're gonna turn it off halfway. That halfway line. So that's what I'm thinking about. Really, that's my overall point. That these characters are halfway in some stage in their life. So Batgirl now, it's kind of like, well, I want to be your equal. I want to be respected. Not just your partner that you just call on. I want to be there.
Yeah.
I can manage myself and I can be, I can be supportive of you. Batman's like, no, you're just going to be by the side. So, it's that decision that she makes, kind of puts them in this weird position. And then if you look at like Batman, for example, now the way how he is, the way how he reacts to certain things.
Yeah.
Look at like what happened after that, night that they consummate. He doesn't even call or anything like that. And when she does call, it's because she is who she is. She calls and he's just like indifferent. It's just like, yeah, okay, well, all right, just driving around doing things, I could kind of go back to that moment where he talks about, seeing the abyss and, but we don't see, where Batman like really went that far that, now that anything that he sees won't really affect him until that moment that he hears that Joker has disappeared and now he's just like, not really flipping out that much because, he's Batman. He always has to be all somber. But at the same time, you could tell that he's fearful of something. He's fearful of this guy doing something crazy. And then look at what happened to Batgirl. And then with the commissioner. And then if you look at the commissioner now, he shows Joker shows him all these images. And then, of course, the infamous shot where, you see shots of Barbara Gordon naked and stuff. Well, they kind of hint at it in the movie. They don't really show it blatantly.
Yeah.
That moment itself could have just broken
in the comic, it's not just her naked, but in the comic it's strongly implied that Joker rapes her after she's shot.
Yeah. And you kind of imply it in the movie too, and I know some people were turned off by it, but it's off of the book.
That's the whole point. I mean, it's just show how this depraved Joker as a character is supposed to be. So.
Exactly.
Right.
And at that moment, you would think that this man that's it. You do this. That's like the ultimate sin right there.
Right.
There's no way out of it, but. Fortunately, Gordon is still the kind of person who he is. Yes, he's shocked and whatnot. He's disturbed and tormented. But at the same time, he does not break. He does not bend. He doesn't fall. And then when he meets up with Batman, he's like, we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna do this we're gonna stick to the rules now. So even though he goes through all these trial and tribulations, he still maintains his sanity. He goes through that hell. That abyss, but he still comes out the same person. So in a way, that with the point I'm trying to make is that what I that is what I assume that first half was trying to really develop through this relationship between Batgirl and Batman. And then also too, the reason why I actually looked this up after I saw the film, why they spent so much time on Batgirl even having her narrated, is that admittedly, when the comic book came out, when the graphic novel came out, people were kind of wondering, well, why you have this moment where Batgirl just suddenly is there and then she gets shot,
Right.
And then, well, the writer admits that,
I understood. I understood that because I was like, okay, I get why they had to do this whole filler thing because they needed you to care about Batgirl.
Yes, that's right? The idea. Yeah.
So they set up this whole thing. They had her talking with the friend in the library. They had her doing a lot of monologuing and all of that. And so I get what they tried to do, but it was to me it was just done in a really clumsy way.
I know. I'll get to the way how it was done, because what I'm saying is the stuff that I'm talking about is like if they had really worked a little harder on the script, making it work, then you would have seen these things. It would have been much more powerful. But for me to have to stop and then think about it, because one of those shows that when it ends, you just walk like, all right, decent show. You have to really think about it, especially that last shot before the end credits. That joke is where the overall message comes in.
When Batman started laughing in the end, it's like,
and I love how they did that, by the way. That was a great, not perfect way to end that story. I love how they did that. But fleshing out Batgirl, I see why they did that, because at the time with the release of the comic, the writer actually confessed that Batgirl's presence was just there as a plot device.
Right.
He needed something to throw off both the Commissioner and Batman at the same time.
Right.
And I know, actually, I didn't know this before, but actually there was this feminist group that coined this term "woman in refrigerators."
Yeah, Green Lantern.
Yeah, with that moment with Green Lantern, which I didn't even know existed. I saw that, I read about it, I was like,
Green Lantern.
Wow.
It's basically a woman just dying for the sake of a man, to drive a man. Something a woman has to suffer or be destroyed or killed for the sake of a man.
Yeah, that is 50 Shades of effed up, especially for a DC comic book.
Right.
Like, I would say, something like that I would see like in in a manga, but not in a DC comic, man. Oh gosh. But anyway,
it is what it is. I mean, it's something that it can drive somebody in either way, because usually when to get a guy to do something is, the girlfriend had a dead, or the girlfriend had to be in trouble, or damsel in distress, or whatever it is. I mean, I neither here nor there about that, because I still think it's a workable form for storytelling. Especially in relatively simple storytelling, like comic books. Like, look, I think comic books can be complex, but most comic books don't need to be complex. So it's something I don't really fight or care about. Yeah. And I get the point of women in refrigerators, because in the case of Green Lantern, it was really ridiculous. Like that
sounds messed up, Trevor. Like,
it was really
like that.
No, but what the complaint was just so ridiculous, because it's like why they do it that way was so stupid in that comic, and it does illustrate the point so extreme now. It's one of the most extreme cases of what these feminists would have been talking about. So yeah,
it just sounds really disturbing though. But I guess if I read the book, I might agree with you and be like, that was a dumb way to pull that off.
Right.
Yeah. So I like the fact that they actually gave Batgirl some character, really fleshed out.
And they still had the character relatively young, so she's not too thing, and Batman don't give a shit about she in that way, and he kind of just he kind of pulled she and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I also like the complexities given to her. It's not like, she's a woman, so she has to be a hero, and Batman is the guy, so he has to be wrong, especially in that that whole relationship thing that they have. The show is being complex, morally, emotionally complex,
Right.
She makes that decision, that moment, but it's not like, that was a sexist thing or whatever like that. It's just her being that character, and the way how they really set her character up. It just happens, and then you see the aftermath of it, and I like that. I just felt that, for all these comparisons and parallels I'm doing, it's just if that they really focus on that story a little bit more. And I was worried that, how they were going to tie the first half with, the Joker. I think that maybe if they could, in a thematic kind of way, not just with some opening narration about, after this, the week after that would change my life forever. That was just a little too cheap for me, a little too... it needed more work.
I don't know. They should. You could have tell. Yeah, again, they needed more time with this to weave the narrative a little better.
Yeah.
It could work, but it didn't work. Again, but I still recommend this. I still like it for the most part.
Yeah. I'll just kind of round up this. There's a few more things. Then you'll get to rating, if you will.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna go on anyone. I'm not gonna go on any feminist side or whatever and say, well, I didn't like how Batgirl was represented and why did she give herself to Batman? Batman's old and I don't care. It's just a moment that happened. Okay, it's up to you, the viewer, to really, figure it out or analyze it for yourself.
Right.
Other than that, too, the R rating, I felt it was like a kind of light to a decent R, not a strong R. They kind of hint that it could be strong, but no, they kind of keep it within a certain, limit, and I appreciate the creators for that. But it is rated R for a reason. There's not too much language. They actually, I was wondering if they're gonna say the F word, but they actually say one guy actually says, "I don't give a F for some flying F for some kind of thing." So like, oh, okay, I saw what the other guy said. But they really do go for this edgy approach, and I actually applaud them for actually going that far. I mean, I would say this much: it is probably their boldest, most complex movie to date. I mean, complex in terms of the themes, but I just felt that if they just develop it, not just in the second half, but in the first half, and really tie both of them in together, it would have worked. Even if it was just like in the first half, you got the presence of Joker, something about him, some kind of thing going on, then you would have really felt it when things really hit the fan. What else? I know a lot of people who actually saw it on big screen in the States were complaining about the animation. I saw it on small screen, so it just looked like any other DC animated film. But
the only time they were complaining about the frames. In the trailer it was pretty obvious. But in the final product, I only noticed it in one scene, and it's the same scene in the trailer. That was the scene where Batman was walking towards Joker's cell, and the whole scene with Joker's cell. I get it when it's trying to do it to try to make things slow, but yeah, you need to put in some frames in there though. But everything else was fine.
And I saw a couple of shots that looked like, they could have do some little tweak into that animation. Right. Kind of stilted at times.
Right.
But other than that, though, I think it is a decent effort, not the greatest work that they've ever done. But, for what they were going for, being this bold, risky film, I thought it worked for the most part. It's just, the story and the parallels I just mentioned could have been fleshed a little bit more, so, it would have made a bigger impact instead of your reliance on the second half to make sense of what happened before.
Right.
And you could easily argue that the first half was just there to add more action, to add more shootouts, more fighting. But it's entertaining, but still thematically it needed to connect itself. Both halves need to connect really.
Right.
So you can't help but say that they feel different, but
Right, yeah, the two things. They needed to fill up the time. Agreed.
Because, I mean, you want to see a 45-minute killing joke film anyway, you know?
So, I don't know. I still got what they tried to do, but it kind of didn't really work out in my opinion.
Yeah. But what I'll say is not the worst Marvel, Marvel, DC animated film. I will say it is one of their strongest.
Right. I'll still put it above like all the New 52 nonsense.
Yeah, I would actually put that around like where Under the Red Hood is. Those ones that really... Well, I meant in terms of going the extra mile, in terms of story and in terms of content. I would say it like that. I'm not saying it's as good as Under the Red Hood. Hell no.
Yeah, this one...
Even better, no.
Because the last time we got... I'll put it around the level of maybe a little under Gods and Monsters, maybe.
Agreed, yeah. Agreed.
Around that, because it's still just as short. They had to tighten up the script, but Gods and Monsters worked. This one didn't really work in some parts because of the tight narrative, and things. They had to find excuses to. They could have filled up some more stuff. While Gods and Monsters was like, in my opinion, a next to perfect edit in that sense.
Yeah, and then remember that movie was all about setting up this world, this altered reality.
Exactly.
There's no limit where they could go, and they just went real far with it.
Right, exactly. So it still had to be constrained in that way. If I could see people hating this. Have some people I can imagine would probably hate this movie. They think it didn't work or pace out itself very well.
Yeah, but I think those haters would be the ones that either too hype for it. Because I mean, if you're going with a lot of hype, you're going to be very disappointed. Or those who just maybe not familiar with the book, so they see all these, these violent and sexual images, and they're like, well, whoa, what's this? Again, all freaked out, and stuff. I've been seeing reviews like that anyway. Right.
And then some people will temper themselves by saying, well, for me, because DC has pretty much been shit in the bed for the year for me, I really wanted this to be great. But yeah, I'm not surprised that it wasn't that good. in that sense. And I knew you got the feeling that they didn't have time. Everything just felt like time ran out for this.
Oh, okay. Well,
Brewster and Company are perfectionists, and they kind of need this stuff to be more or less perfect.
Yeah.
I got the feeling that this one was, they really wanted this to be great, and with Gods and Monsters, that felt like a finished product. This one felt slightly undercooked. A little bit.
Yeah. Agreed. But right. I do see what they were trying to do. I do applaud them for what they tried to do. I applaud them for them going that extra mile. It's just like I said, if those two halves could have connected on a thematic level, connected even stronger, we would have had a masterpiece. But for me, go on, continue, and then we can get to it.
If Batman v Superman could get an Ultimate Edition, they should get one too. They should get them an extra little bit of time to do something, fill in the blanks.
Yeah, man, I don't mind, but we're getting that Blu-ray release next week, so I don't know.
But it's still solid. I give this one, I don't know. I give it 7 out of 10 if anything.
I will give it a 3.5, or I'll give it a strong 3.5 out of 5. It's definitely worth checking out. I do definitely recommend it as well too. Yeah. Go into this with an open mind. Just keep the hype levels down. Go in, think about it, especially at the very end. It's not one of those shows you just walk out like, yeah, that was cool, a lot of action and stuff. You have to sit down and really think about it.
Yeah, I don't hate
it. But it's just extra thinking, of course, when you have to consider the first half hour. But
yeah.
Right. So, speaking of adult-oriented cartoons, we could jump into
Bojack Horseman,
which I haven't seen, but I will check it out as soon as possible. So, yeah, talk to me about that.
All right. So, this is the 3rd season of Bojack Horseman. For those not familiar with it, it's about a horseman named Bojack. It's basically this weird, strange world of animals and people living together.
Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Well, it's originally called Hollywood, and then the D.
And then one thing, the D was stolen, and now it's Hollywood.
Yeah. So Bojack is about a horse who deals in he's basically an actor in the early 90s. And
he had a sitcom. I forgot the name of the show.
Horsing Around.
Yeah, Horsing Around. That's right.
It deals with adult. Why it's adult is it deals with human relations quite well, and then the idea of how humans deal with each other, and the idea of depression. It deals with depression very well. Bojack is an incredibly traumatized person from childhood. A lot of very disturbing things happened to him, like his childhood hero committing suicide in season 1.
Which was messed up, by the way.
Really, really messed up. Losing loved ones. His mother treating him like crap as a child. A lot of verbal and emotional abuse. And his career and how he's never satisfied with life. How he kind of is a very toxic person in many ways. He kind of destroys other people's lives with his lifestyle and how he lives. And this season does that really well. It picks up from season 2 where his movie is a hit and does really well. And now his career is going forward, and he's now nominated for. Well, no, he's not. He's being pushed by a publicist to be nominated for an Oscar for this season.
Okay.
Right, and the movie does very, very well. He feels like but he himself feels like a fraud, and he feels really down and sad, and again, he deals with depression. It's all about depression. It does that very, very well.
What about his slacker friend? I forgot.
Todd.
Todd. Right. He was. In the last season, he was about to do something. Like I think he left Bojack to pursue some career, and then in the last bit, I think it was some mime or some kind of thing. So it was some comedic, some comic thing.
It was improv. That was
improv, right?
Right. No, that was kind of already the focus. This season, I thought, I don't want to talk about too much this season because you have to see it. It's one of those shows you really have to see. You only have to talk about it after. But this season, there's one episode in particular that really stands out. It's episode 4, where it's kind of like it's an episode called Fish Out of Water, and it's kind of like him going to quote unquote Japan. It's like the equivalent of Japan in this world now. And holy shit, this episode was brilliant. This have to win an award of some sort. Everything was silent and serene and somber, and it was just so it was artsy as fuck, as they say. It was just so well done. That have to win a nomination. Emmy? Sorry, I don't know if it'll win an Emmy. I don't know what it'll win because Netflix allowed for Emmys.
They should.
Okay, whatever. If anything, whatever. Emmy, maybe whatever the awards or internet awards stuff win, I'll assume it's Emmys. But that was an absolutely brilliant episode. That episode 4 episode, jeez boy. This season, not as I still prefer season 2 to this one, because this one.
I actually love season 2 because how it kind of embraced its world, so it was bizarre and funny because of how bizarre it was. Yeah.
Right. This season was more about it really focused on Bojack's emotions. Nowhere near as funny as season 2. I thought season 2 was just so funny because it just had the jokes and the emotion going back and forth and really well done.
That chicken for days skit though.
Right, exactly. And
I love that.
It just had all these like really great little slapstick humor moments. This season was it started strong. I thought it lulled in the middle a bit with some of the episodes. It just felt like more like kind of fillerish. But then them last 2 episodes was like knife shanks to the stomach, Judge. Jeez, way. Brutal ending to the season, Judge. I was like, I can't believe they did that too. And I kind of knew it was coming, but like, nah, boy, they did that. It was really powerful season this rounds. Really great development of the character for everybody, especially Princess Carolyn and Bojack himself.
Right.
Yes, the finale itself was really powerful. Second season was damn powerful with that ending where the monkey told him that he get up and continue.
Yeah, but then I love that. Well, that was actually a nice way to end that season, to be honest.
This one had a similar punctuation but different, and how they did it and how it linked was really good. Yeah, totally recommend Bojack. I give this one probably close to 9 out of 10. Still really strong. Didn't like it as much as season 2, but it's only because it wasn't as funny as season 2. That's the only reason. But from my emotion, character development, world building standpoint, just as good and probably even better in many ways. I thought this one was just really mature. And again, what they did with it to the finale and all the little things that they hinted at with it was really, really good. Yeah, Bojack was awesome. Really, really love this new season. Binged it. You will binge it too. I totally recommend.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to binge it for sure.
Definitely recommend this one.
But what to talk about? Well, I know as soon as season 3 came out, we got word that season 4 is coming out like very soon.
Yeah, it got renewed. No surprise. It was very good. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I will definitely check that out. Like I say, I will check it out as soon as just trying to find the time to do so. But I will, trust me, because I actually loved, the first 2 seasons. I loved the season 2 because of how, like I say, how it just embraced its own weirdness. So I can't wait to see what they do with this third one.
This one, the world building is much better. Like, with season 2 and 1, it had this stuff with everything. You used to see stuff in the background. This one have like some real like deep jokes in the background that you don't get, and like I had to go on the subreddit and on the forums and whatnot just to see, oh, this is a joke and that was a joke I didn't catch the first time. A lot of stuff I catch the first time, but a lot of stuff other people point out to me. I was like, wait, that's real funny and clever though. But that stuff I pick up, like it had this really funny joke where they had to come up with the nominations.
Okay.
For the awards but they lose their nomination, so they had to make it up and bullshit. And then you see in the background, like they had a big chalk, well, not chalk, but a whiteboard with marker, and you saw in the corner actor nominations, and you see black people in you show black people ? And you see it crossed out. I was like, jeez,
wow.
Yes, like wow. That's what Bojack does really well. Like, it does all these great like jokes. Like if you're familiar with entertainment and the entertainment industry and movies in general, it's perfect for guys like me and you, because it's like all these jokes that we familiar with. Like if you just watch a ton of movies, like, oh shit, this was a joke from 2007 and this was a joke from so and so. Like it's a great knowledge of Hollywood and the entertainment industry at large and film production in general, because they get into that brutal aspect of how a film is made and the kind of shenanigans that start to go on in behind the scenes with film production in general and film marketing.
Right.
This season does that really well, because that whole news cycle part, they do a whole great part of the whole press cycle.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, it's like a brutal take down the press cycle in Hollywood and the entertainment industry in general. So it's stuff like that just make the show really, really work. So and it's funny, but this kind of dark funny that you shouldn't be laughing at. That is what it shows really well.
It's so brutally honest, but at the same time you laugh at how weird it's all presented. Right.
But this one does that by far better than probably, if anything, probably any other big cartoons, better than Rick and Morty or even South Park or something like that. In my opinion, it's just this brutal reality to everything now.
Yeah.
Especially emotionally now for the characters. So yeah, this season was really damn good. I recommend, as I say, can't recommend Bojack Horseman enough. It have ratings all across the board. But I say the episode 4. Watch the episode 4 and tell me you were not blown away by that fucking episode. That episode is really well done. You'll love it. I'm telling you will love it.
Right. So moving along, we're gonna talk about Ghostbusters. the long-awaited reboot that everyone was, psyched about. They were complaining left, right, and center about, how can you take this great movie and do this? Why? And
right.
Some people were just kind of hyped up because it looked really flashy and cool, and it had a great, I would admit, great cast.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of just fill us in. I know you have your own point of view about the behind the scenes, basically.
Yes, the thing. So it's okay. So typical Ghostbusters is a product of proxy politics. The only hype that this movie get around the film has very little to do with the film itself, not really.
Exactly.
But the last 3 or 4 years has been a big set of, let's just call it gender politics for the most part. LGBT this, feminism that, mansplaining and da 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 da, and sort of back and forth.
Yeah.
And like any big political kind of scenarios like this, you end up getting proxy scenarios where somebody don't really give a shit about the thing, but what they'll do is they'll bring their political baggage to that thing.
So they use that specific thing to hype up the film, even if it has nothing to do with it.
Right. And then the thing is, the creators of the film kind of embraced that a little bit because they knew, look, you're going to have a bunch of guys who gonna be a bunch of dudes gonna be just pissed off anyway. It's like, oh well, woman,
the 80s crowd,
right, whoever it is, a bunch of where people call them man babies or whatever it is, and there are people who say, look, it just looking terrible in general, and there are other people who's like, they just don't like it because it's women in charge now. Women, I don't want more women's in the Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be men,
right?
Men in the 30s or late 40s or whatever.
Right. And personally, I didn't hate this movie.
Neither me.
Right. This movie was, it felt like a great, to me, it felt like a solid alt-reality Ghostbusters movie, actually. That's what it felt like. It felt like, oh, well, this is Ghostbusters in another universe. That's what it is. The Ghostbusters just happen to develop. They come out in their own way. And the thing is, the sad part is that the final product, well, let me just get into, well, you give us 2 cents of what you think, or at least the explanation of the movie, and then we'll mansplain what went wrong with this movie.
All right, I will, because this movie was just so light on plot, or at least it gave the impression that this was a strong plot, but it really wasn't at all.
Yeah.
The premise basically is just about just like the original film, these ghosts, these paranormal creatures start showing up here, there, and everywhere around New York City.
Yeah.
We have these 4 characters played by Melissa McCartney, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
And Melissa McCarthy plays Dr. Abby Yates.
Yeah.
And she's basically setting up this whole paranormal investigation thing, I guess. Well, she has her own lab and whatnot. And then we have Kristen Wiig, who plays Dr. Erin Gilbert. She has this book that she's not exactly proud of, where she kind of, supports this idea or believes in this idea that yes, ghosts do exist, but then she kind of dismisses it until one of her advisors at this university that she's working at, brings up the point that yes, this book is on Amazon and it was there because of Abby. So she visits Abby, and Abby's all denying it and stuff. And meanwhile, Abby is working with Kate, who plays Dr. Jillian Holtzman. So they're doing their whole basically trying to do like a kind of ghost hunters kind of vibe. Yeah. So all 3 of them tag along to go and investigate this case where just like in the old film, the location has changed, where suddenly this ghost just suddenly appears, and they actually record the event, so it goes up on YouTube, and they basically a sensation online, and then they decide, all these ghosts popping up, we might as well start our own agency where we actually fight these things.
Yeah.
So just like in the old film, beat for beat, they rent this building. Yeah. They hire they hire Chris Hemsworth of all people, who plays Kevin Beckman.
Right.
And this guy just literally goes out his way to prove to the audience that yes, he's the biggest idiot in the whole wide world.
Right.
And after that, they hire Leslie Jones, who plays Patty Tolan. She works in the New York subway.
Yeah.
She actually sees a ghost as well too. But basically, it's like the all 4 meet up, and then we have this villain. Well, actually, kind of like a villain, although we don't really see much of him.
Yeah.
Who somehow has this technology, or just the ability to channel all these other ghosts.
Okay, so
yeah, that's a move. That's where this
okay. So the sad part, the sad part, as I said, I look at it as a great like alt reality Ghostbusters movie. Rule 60, let's call it Rule 63. That is when you switch genders or characters.
I know you mentioned that before.
Anyway, this, the sad part is that with some quick, like not that much, just a quick script doctrine and a proper edit could make it a hit.
Yeah.
Easy. Here's the big problems. One, the villain didn't work.
No. That guy, I know he was from Ghostbusters, but I can't remember for the life of him what his purpose was,
Right.
But, yeah.
I get what they try to do with the character, because they try to make the character, well, he's this, again, that's the problem with the show, and I'm just going to put it out there before.
That was terrible the way how they set up that character.
Right. No,
he's picked on and bullied and
they try to do it, because they try to, here's the problem, is that because the movie, involved itself in what I call honeypot politics, proxy politics, essentially. Why I call it honeypot is based on the term from cybersecurity, where you create a honeypot to pull people intentionally to catch them off guard. This one was just so designed and tailor-made to try to cater to this political kind of narrative and back and forth. And they should have focused on just making a good movie instead of worrying too much about the movie, the potential detractors. But I suppose that kind of relationship comes with the territory.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of sequences. Well, just a couple of examples that kind of highlight that. Just with the first three Ghostbusters, like when they're talking about this whole ghost thing and trying to get, it's usually these male guys, they're gazing at them and laughing at, all that stuff, and they play that so much times now, and then slight little spoiler, and then in the end, it's like, New York finally loves the Ghostbusters, they appreciate the Ghostbusters, wow,
Yeah, now, again, there's some okay world building with, like, it have some people who do believe in ghosts, but they don't want the public to get so and so they try to cover it up. I think they had this guy from The Wire in it.
Yeah, Omar.
Yeah,
Omar. What was so funny is that they actually covered up that scar though, like either with lighting or maybe some makeup or something, but they covered up that famous scar of his. I was like, okay. He's with that. Like, all right, wow.
The woman who's playing the secretary, she's a person in SNL as well. She's Cecily Strong.
Okay.
Yeah, she was.
I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, she was the funniest person in the movie for me.
You find out because this whole she was playing like, we don't want to do this, but she had that kind of vibe about her.
Right, yeah. No, I think she's pretty funny. But as I said, back to the villain. Yeah, I get what they try to do with it because again to play the politics kind of argument. Well, it's a guy who's hurt, but he's smart, but he's like this real nerdy character who just hate the world and he need to destroy the world kind of things, and especially with women. And he being picked on, bullied kind of stuff, and it didn't work. If they
didn't develop it properly. That's the thing. You only just got one instance of it.
The character didn't make any sense because the character is this complete amateur working in a boiler room, or he was a janitor or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Yet he was so smart to do all this technical stuff. I was like, you should have a career way higher than this. It didn't make any sense what he was doing now. And
they just completely forgot about him in the third act.
Right, but what I would have done with him is I would have made him something akin to a lab tech or maybe a scientist like Kristen Wiig who tried to undermine her because of the sexism stuff. So at least it would have made sense why he would have understand the tech now. Like they give out a kind of real fast perfunctory reason of why does he know, because he read their book. I was like, what? How, like, really? The man built traps on that engineering level with the other engineer, In fact, in many ways, he kind of smarter than Kate McKinnon's character. So I don't understand that at all. That didn't flow at all for me. Like, how did he be so smart? How he built all them things? How he had the knowledge to understand how to do, to kill himself and come back as a ghost in that way and this kind of thing. I was like,
yeah, that made no sense.
That didn't make any sense, but whatever.
But on the subject of characters, though,
right. I just want to talk about the other character, the Kevin character.
Yeah. That
character made no fucking sense. Now, again, I get the need to push the narrative of, well, you need a dumb guy, and he's if you're familiar with what they call the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is a person who's a dumb person, think they're intelligent, will try to push that narrative forward. So they need to push that. Well, he's so dotish, but his stupidity made no sense. It didn't have any logic to it. Like, it had this one part where noise was going off, and he blocked his eyes, and I was like, what? Why would he block his eyes? What, he's suffering from synesthesia or something?
No, the moment that catch me is when they ask him, why are there any, what's wrong with the glasses? Why is there any glass in the front?
Right.
is like because they get dirty fast.
Right, and
that was the moment that lost me. I was like,
that didn't make any sense at all.
No. Stop.
That didn't make any sense. Nothing he did was even marginally coherent. Like, again, you could have a character who's stupid, but you need to have a certain logic and coherency to the stupidity. Right? Exactly. That's when you write. But this character was just poorly written all across. That character made no sense. He didn't make any sense functionally. He didn't make any sense. He barely knew how to use the phone. They say they're going to unplug the phone. And again, I get that you need to push this. Again, you're putting this in the feminism stuff, fine. But have it make sense. And you see, in the context of Ghostbusters, it never made sense. Because in the original Ghostbusters, Janine was actually quite competent. It's not like she was some kind of idiot or something.
It's so just she gets annoyed very quickly. That was her flaw, really.
Exactly. But Janine was a character who was actually quite competent. She made sense. She's a character who worked. She actually became a Ghostbuster eventually. I was like,
oh yeah, I forgot.
The character, this character, Kevin character, didn't make any sense. They need to make him so dumb. I get you needed to make a dumb guy, but come on, guys, that didn't make any sense. Well,
yeah, and then in the third act where they do something to him, I won't spoil it, where he kind of goes into this kind of over the top character. It got a little interesting there, but he's saying that it's kind of like, yeah, you're just kind of wasting Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, it didn't work.
But on the subject of that, just one thing one of many things that actually turned me off. And I know a lot of like reviewers talked about this, that every scene, like when it involving these characters, always felt like every character was trying to one up each other in terms of how crazy and loony and funny they could be, especially with Kate McKinnon's character.
Right.
She was like the least interesting character for me. She was just weird for the sake of being weird. I didn't like that. I thought that she was trying way too hard. I know she has talent, don't mind. I haven't really followed up her work. I haven't really watched SNL in years, so I can't really vouch for them. But I know, everyone, all the Ghostbusters, all the four of them, are great actresses. But just the way how these scenes are set up, it's just like, oh, well, this is just about you trying to be funny. You trying to be stupid. It doesn't really push the narrative forward.
Right. Why that didn't work is because the main problem with the movie is the edit. The edit was the worst. Like, it was
the editing was... God.
Yeah, the edit was really, really bad. In fact, I'll say it probably had a whole chunk of the story was cut out because Kristen Wiig kind of disappeared and she's supposed to come back like this big hero. And I was like, yeah, that didn't cut well at all, though. Like, you get the feeling that she had a whole chunk of her cut out now. I don't know.
What else?
And then like the other part of the credits that was like that should have been in the movie. So remember the other part where he had all of them like in a kind of 70s dance pose?
Yes.
Right, so you get the feeling that should have been a whole sequence. You saw that in the credits.
And they put it to the very end when the credits are roll. Like,
exactly,
dude, people are getting up and leaving. We don't want to stay back and see Chris Hemsworth doing this dance, bro.
Right.
You think, no,
the credits, and they had a post-credit scene where they mentioned the villain from the first one, which was Zool.
Oh, Zool, okay.
Yeah, they mentioned the character.
I didn't even stick around for that.
They had the party character was like listening to the noise now, the voice recording thing.
Yeah.
And she asked Kristen Wiig's character, who's Zool now? And she's like, I don't know. And then the scene just cuts there, so it's just basically a hint of the sequel. But this movie will most likely get a sequel.
And on the subject of Zool, can we talk about these cameos, Fred?
Right.
Oh my
The cameos, I thought they were okay. They were fine. Bill Murray's was a little too much.
Bill Murray's was the worst. It was
that was kind of bad.
It made no sense. He seemed like he didn't want to be in it.
Right. That was the problem. It's like, but he's the skeptic this time, and I was like, all right, but they could have give a better reason for him. Janine had okay.
How they quote unquote dispose of him just didn't work. It was just lazy.
It's a little rushed.
Dan Aykroyd's caught me off guard. That was interesting. That was cool.
I thought that was actually quite funny.
The Sigourney Weaver didn't care for it. I thought it was, and the way how they placed it didn't work for me.
That comes to me.
Same thing for Ernie Hudson. Didn't work for me. How they made him look.
Yeah. And then Janine, I forget the actress name who played Janine, but she was in it as well. She was in the hotel.
Was it? I think it's Annie Potts. Yes, Annie Potts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she was in it. It was normal.
But one thing before we get to rating, I forgot to mention these special effects, for what it's worth,
pretty
good. Yeah, they look good. They look, I mean, when it comes to visuals, this movie looks very good.
Yeah.
And just the visuals alone will keep your eyes open. I mean, in my case, I was just kind of bored because I was like, yeah, these punchlines are hitting. This is not fun.
A lot of jokes.
It looked very good.
Yeah, the special effects itself is sad because they could have get a better way to have the ghost. Like one of the best sequences actually was when the mannequins was chasing Leslie Jones,
Oh yeah, that was a cool scene. Yeah.
Right. And the sad part is that the movie, Leslie Jones' character actually worked and makes some sense because she was a city historian.
Yeah.
And they could have, again, it didn't make sense why it is that she was in the movie. They could have come up with a better way of why she could have been in the movie. Again,
and I see that she was trying to play like the street character, in relation to the other three, but
right,
still
exactly. But
they kind of play off the whole Ebony thing, so you always have to have a, shouting loud and screaming and stuff like.
Right.
Yeah.
She actually, the best part of the movie actually for me personally was when the ghost took over Melissa McCarthy's character. I thought actually that worked.
Like that?
It actually worked. The whole scene edited fully, it worked in the thing. In the trailer, it looked stupid and kind of retarded, but in the whole scene as it is, what you had out of the window and the window break a second time and all of that.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of obnoxious with the power of.
No, at that point
practical builds you.
Right, I hated that. That part was stupid.
Yeah.
But
but what the part that I really liked the most though was actually too dark. I was impressed by it because that's when you got the action. That's when you see the Ghostbusters doing the thing.
You could tell they put a bunch of stuff that was a lot of scrapped ideas. So like this is the whole part where the Macy's Day, the floating parade.
Which was cool by the way. I like
that was one of the better parts.
Parade that was
supposed to be an idea in Ghostbusters 3.
Oh, okay. I thought it was for the second one. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, so they put a bunch of ideas that was kind of scrapped. They put it in this movie. So like, all right, look the scene that was supposed to be there. They put it in clearly.
Yeah. I like how they work together. Although it felt kind of forced because you didn't really see them do much before, and that's one problem that a lot of people had. Yeah. You never really saw more examples of them actually doing the Ghostbusters. Yeah, so when you see all of them together near the end, it's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
they have this camaraderie now, and how come they could do all these like crazy stunts with the proton beams and stuff?
That didn't flow at all. I mean, and the sad part is that again, a quick script doctrine and a proper edit could have really make this a workable hit.
Yeah, this I agree with you. I mean, the show had potential, but I think it's just because people were just so divided by it. They were just trying, I guess, to prove that. Well, I think they should have just tried to prove that, yes, we could tell a really great story without really taking a giant crap over the old movies. But
that's the thing, the Ghostbusters franchise.
They didn't do that.
The Ghostbusters franchise was a franchise that just couldn't work anyway. I mean, as a franchise was luck. The original movie was just pure luck in that sense. Now for it to work, it was just a pure luck movie. So they themselves couldn't even replicate it because Ghostbusters 2 sucked. So I would say
it was just forgettable. Honestly, it was just forgettable. I wouldn't say the worst thing in the world, but just forgettable.
But it was just kind of crappy. And ultimately, the franchise is a franchise that you have to know what you're doing with it. And look, ultimately, if they sit down and flesh it out, the sequel could be better, hopefully. But I don't expect them to do that because it's still Sony and it's still Kevin Feige. And, you're still going to get a kind of half-assed product ultimately now.
Yeah, but I think because of the backlash, and I could see this especially for somebody like... what's her face? That's all. Hold on.
Leslie Jones.
I could say for somebody like Leslie Jones, she doesn't want to be part of this again because didn't she cancel her Twitter account because of all these racist comments? Yeah,
I'm about to get to that. That she just was the utter sociopathy of the whole thing. Just kind of poisoned the well now. So now I other people can't get in and criticize the movie without kind of looking like an asshole. I was like, no, I don't judge the movie for what it is. And Leslie Jones is actually one of the better parts of the movie, in my opinion.
I agree. I totally agree.
But they should have her just be a better way to come into the story. Because again, her being knowledgeable about the city could have made more sense now.
I agree. Yeah, I actually like that aspect of her. That she
just
knew a lot about the city.
Yeah, this historical stuff, and it's like, oh well, that'll make sense of why she could have get them from point A to point B, at least initially, to get her up.
They probably could have worked in well into that, it's seeing all this kind of, they kind of went back to the 70s actually, as you mentioned. You could have mentioned, this is what happened in this parade in the 70s, or this is the path that they will go, this is the road that they will go on, or something. I think some kind of way to bring in that aspect of her.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate.
But for what it's worth though, guys, I didn't hate the show, but it's just that I didn't really laugh at it that much. I chuckled a few times. But I mean, visually looks really good.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention I actually saw it on 3D, and what they did, they kind of shrink the image a little bit, so it looked a little letterbox. So like, there were moments in particular, like for example, when the ghost itself had that projectile vomit. You saw it kind of spewing out of the bottom of the screen.
Right.
And then there was another moment where one of the Ghostbusters proton beams, whatever you call it, actually came out on the top right of the screen. So it kind of stuck, like left the image and touched the top of the screen. I thought that was clever.
Okay.
And the audience I saw it with, they were laughing every once in a while. There was this mother who was just cackling through everything. I was like, you really find this funny? Okay.
Yeah. I know, yeah. That's the thing. It's one of those weird kind of cultural things. Again, that's the sad part about you're not sure what the audience bias is. So that's why I kind of just put in the same domain as a Tyler Perry kind of something in that way, because it's like, yeah, some people are gonna like this and other people are gonna kind of hate it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because of just how technically it looks, how polished it looks. I mean, it looks very good. People will just be drawn to it. They're not gonna just be snoring. Luckily for me, I didn't even snore through this whole show. But they're gonna be not captivated by it, but they're gonna watch this thing. But at the same time, they're either gonna be like checking their watches or just waiting for a joke that will really land. And like I say, most of them really fell flat for me. Even the banter between the Ghostbusters just felt like, yeah, we're just trying to be funny, not too outrageous, but just like, I'm trying to be funnier than you. You're gonna be trying to be funnier than me, and then Chris Hemsworth with that idiotic character just trying to stress the point that yes, he is stupid and nothing more.
I think I really hated his character. He was good. The character didn't make any kind of functional sense at all. Like, it didn't even make any sense. Even for a character supposed to be dumb, it didn't make any sense. That character made no sense. Like, he could barely use the telephone. He not answering the phone, so you're wondering what he's an idiot or he being passive aggressive. Like, that character didn't work and didn't follow at all for me.
Yeah, and it served no purpose. And then
it served no purpose.
And then we could argue about this, but I guess it's up to the viewer. Just like the male characters in this show.
Right.
And I get that. They're either stupid or they just
douchebaggy. I get that. I get what they were trying to do with it. I get that. But it's still, you had to have some logic to it now, and it didn't work. It didn't follow for me at all. Whatever. Ultimately, I get this one CC8.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, it got CC8. It's fine. You go see it is not something that you should skip. I don't think you should skip it, if anything. But it was normal though, and they could have done so much more with this. And as I said, the sad part is that they seem to spend more time addressing its quote unquote potential detractors rather than just making a good movie. To me, the proper revenge is just good success, and just make a proper movie.
Yeah, and they had the potential, they had the talent, they had the cast, they had the crew, they had Paul Feig.
I was skeptical of the whole thing, because it's not because it's going to be women or it's because it's this misogynist, this or that or the other. It's because it's Sony. Sony is half-assed things in the end of the day.
Sony, and the Sony Vaio laptops. This is another movie, guys, where you see a Sony Vaio laptop. Last one was Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Sony is a bunch of half-assed people and they're half-assed products. That's the problem. Everything half-assed and not well done, and they don't want to do anything. That's why those Spider-Man movies are not too hot. I think they did Ninja Turtles, right?
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's just half-assed bullshit. It could have worked. I wanted it to work, but it didn't work. So.
Yeah, well, for me, I actually give this decent 2.5 out of 5 stars.
Right.
See it if you really have to. It does not live up to the hype at all, so you don't have to go and see it on the big screen. If you want to, if you know you're gonna have fun with it, then check it out. You might laugh at it a lot. God, those like I said, some people are actually cracking up over this thing. But if you're really looking for some really great humor, you're not gonna find it here. I would actually recommend that you wait till it comes out on home media. Check it out there, watch it home, and then you can criticize it with your friends and family. But if you want to see it on big screen, if you're looking for some dumb fun to watch for these summer holidays. Right. Just check it out,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, that's that.
Speaking of, I don't want to call it dumb fun, but, speaking of summer fun.
That is also,
Yeah, we could get into it's not really a reboot. Well, actually, it's a sequel to a reboot, technically.
Yeah.
Star Trek Beyond.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know you are the Trekkie, so I will actually leave the floor to you to kind of give us a reference as to what the story is about, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, I liked it. I like this movie. It's one of those. The sad part is, okay, so I just had to do a quick review of the general vibe about the reboots.
Yeah, I will cut you in, because I'll cut you in between those thoughts on those last two films, because I actually rewatched them and I have my thoughts on them, especially the second one. The one I know you do like at all, but you go ahead.
Right, yeah. So okay. So I actually didn't mind the 2009 film. Only because again you knew it had to be this way. Star Trek would have, again, is one of those cases where you either prefer stuff to exist in a way you don't like, or you don't get it at all.
It has to evolve, man.
And that's exactly how. Yeah, but that's exactly what happened. You know, the Star Trek franchise was pretty much rushed into a coffin. With the TNG movies, you know, I've no love lost for those movies. I think almost all of those movies were terrible. Out of the 4 of them, there's only one that I like, and it's
First
still
Contact?
like that. First Contact, yeah. And out of all of them, First Contact was okay, and it still had a bunch of dumb things in it.
What about Insurrection? I saw Insurrection. That was kind of forgettable and boring.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was forgettable, and the villain didn't make any sense and didn't work, and the plot was dumb and didn't make any sense and didn't work.
And then Nemesis, the one which I skipped, the one that you detest so much.
Yeah, but Nemesis is pants on head retarded. I mean, that movie was just so stupid. Nothing about it worked or made sense. It was just on the surface kind of quote unquote badass, and it had a badass ship fight and these kind of things, but story was real stupid and didn't make any sense whatsoever. The villain didn't make sense. I mean, it's Tom Hardy. Look, we like Tom Hardy now, but back then,
Tom Hardy wasn't that?
Tom Hardy was the villain. He was playing Shinzon, and that shit didn't make any sense whatsoever. John, movie didn't work. It just was, and the script didn't make sense, and it was just, and from a continuity standpoint, it didn't make any sense. It was just really stupid. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah. So let me get back to 2009 and Star Trek.
Simple fact is that Nemesis did horribly at the box office. I think it's box office wise, it's probably one of the worst Star Trek movies. It was directed by Stuart Baird, who is a well-known editor.
Yes. I know that name as an editor for movies.
Yeah, he's a solid editor, but as a director, he's a director horrible. And he could remember basic things about Star Trek or the cast or anything. I think if I remember correctly, he was calling LeVar Burton Laverne on set. and I was like, I remember hearing that news, and I was like, in my head, I was like, motherfucker, LeVar Burton's supposed to be directing this movie over you, and you can't remember his name? Like, jeez, boy. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
The film was a mess.
2009.
Yeah, the film was a mess. The Star Trek franchise they just wiped the slate clean. Everybody, they just burned the bridge. Everybody left. So pretty much everybody involved, with the exception of Spock, came back.
Yeah.
TNG class was pretty much wiped out, and then they did 2009, which is a kind of a soft reboot, right? So, then the soft reboot was, I thought it was an okay film. It had a bunch of bullshit in it that I hated, but for the most part, I was like, again, this is fine for me. Like, you could build from this.
Yeah, I thought it was very entertaining. It was very fun. I just felt that the second act, the whole clash between Spock and Kirk, and then when Kirk ran into the old Spock, I mean, I appreciate what he did there. It just felt like the script was kind of sluggish, and then we had this kind of mediocre villain played by Eric Bana.
Right.
Nero,
didn't. That's the thing. Nero is almost identical to Shinzon from Nemesis, so a lot of people was like,
oh really?
That
bad?
Yeah, and that's the problem with the Star Trek movies, that all of them had the same beat now. It's this villain who hate the Federation because reasons, and then you have a big giant ship, so you're gonna use this big giant ship to kill the Enterprise, and the Enterprise had to fight back. And like all the movies, just keep following those movies beat for you. So you could say every movie had it. And with 2009, I didn't really hate it, because it's like, all right, you had it make everything exciting and work, but the script was still really dumb in some ways. And then like again, more the nitpicky, like technical stuff, I had problems with. Like when Spock was watching Vulcan being destroyed, I was like, wait, where Spock is exactly? Vulcan doesn't have a...
Yeah.
But stuff like that. Where exactly his characters, where his motions, this is not how the map's supposed to be, blah blah blah.
But what was interesting for me, what was interesting for me is that it kind of catered to that the Star Wars prequel generation, who loved their sci-fi with flashiness and all that jazz. Yeah. The Kobayashi, Kobayashi Maru.
That was done terribly. That was like straight up retarded how they did it in that movie.
Honestly, after I saw that scene, I still didn't understand what it was. I still understand why it was such a big deal. But
it didn't make any sense. What they did with it was really stupid. In that 2009 movie, whatever. Moving on. Then Into Darkness came along, and even though I like 2009, they pretty much pissed away all the goodwill they had from the 2009 film. Into Darkness was really, really sluggish. It didn't make any sense. And then they made the mistake of ripping off Rata Khan, and the dumbest two things. They bring in Khan in this universe, which makes no sense, in my opinion. Like, the reason they got Khan was like this really, really flimsy reason.
I have a reason for it, but when you finish, it would sound really messed up, but
they gave a reason, and it's a bullshit reason, but it was like really flimsy and stupid. And then they decided to rip off Rata Khan at the end. I was like, what the hell? And then on top of that, they gave it no weight or no stakes. So it's like, Kirk sacrificed himself, and then he used the Khan blood to wake back up. I'm like, what the fuck? This was really stupid, though. The movie is still flashy and noisy, but they could have do this whole movie without Khan entirely. If it was up to me, I'd make it a big, like, Kirk with Klingons, and it would have been like Kirk working with Klingons to deal with Admiral Marcus' character, if anything. And I'd probably bring in Worf grandfather, because Worf grandfather lived at the time of Kirk. He knew Kirk. So I'd do something like that. So it'd be a young...
You could have explored that Klingon world because you introduced it here.
That's my thing.
It just stop.
They decided to bring in Klingons, and I hated what they did with Klingons in that movie as well.
What about the design, the character design? You didn't like how
terrible.
You didn't like the little ring thing they had on their head? That was
shit.
Clever.
I hated that. That Klingon design was terrible. I hated that design.
What about the ship, dude?
To me, the TNG Klingon design is what I like. That's the TNG. That's the best Klingon design.
That's the one we grew up on, so it's easy for us to be like, that's better.
This one was just but this one was not particularly interesting design. That was the problem.
Oh,
so they just put it out, and it's like, that's supposed to be Klingons. And like, but this is a really underwhelming, uninspired design. So I wasn't particularly impressed. I'm not saying that they can't improve on the TNG style, but this one sucked. It didn't work.
No.
They showed no Klingon.
No, they didn't.
Whatever.
Yeah, go on. Well, say your point, and then I will say what I think about that show.
I pretty much wrote off the franchise at that point. Because it showed that they didn't give a shit, and they're not gonna give a shit about the universe as it is. And I was like, all right, whatever, moving on.
Yeah. Well, but then so before you get to the but then, my thing on Into Darkness. Now, I would agree with you. It's not a perfect movie at all. But as far as sequels go, as far as what you expect from a sequel, I thought it was very, very, very well done. It was darker. It lived up to the promise of the title, Into Darkness. It felt darker, but it's kind of like, we will take what sequel we could really pick from, which was really dark. How about Star Trek 2, Rata Khan?
Yeah,
let me just take this iconic villain and just make it dark, and then okay. I don't know. I mean, maybe the Trekkie fans were really angry about it. I don't know. I felt like when they brought in the name Khan, I was like, oh, they did that. Okay, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, they did that. All right. But it's when you had Spock yelling Khan, I was like, no, why? And then you had that moment, where it felt like one person was gonna die. It's like, okay, I see what they're trying to do, but at the same time, you're not feeling that emotion because it's not that well developed,
Yeah.
But like I say, as far as sequels go, it was well done. I like how they gave a couple more characters like Scotty a little bit more screen time, because I felt that he was really underused in the first one.
Yeah.
I thought that the visuals were much better. I thought the action was better. I actually thought the pacing was better, believe it or not, compared to the last one. But I do understand the flaws in it. I do understand why die-hard Trekkies were turned off by it,
Yeah,
but still, like I say, as a sequel, I thought it would. I know, Benedict Cumberbatch awesome. Best villain in the series thus far.
No.
We'll argue about that.
It was not.
Way better than Nero. Come
on.
It
didn't work. It didn't work in the script didn't work. So they tried to do this again. They tried to do this 9/11 Iraq War kind of allegory now.
Right, with the Wallace character, right?
Yeah. So Admiral RoboCop Dick Cheney,
Admiral RoboCop.
Yeah, that's basically what it was, and it didn't work. Like, they tried to do this conspiracy stuff. And by the way, Roberto also is an actual 9/11 conspiracy theorist. So he had to push out that rubbish now. And I was just so sick of that shit at that time.
I didn't even know that. Wow, okay.
Yeah, he is in real life. Like, look it up. He's an actual 9/11 truther. Yeah. So, the thing is that I just that film didn't work for me. It was an entertaining film in the sense of like the special effects and whatnot. And yeah, they have another giant Enterprise like spaceship. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and you always have this moment where something going to attack the city and
ship.
Everyone's running again. Which you do again in this one.
and another bigger ship that they had to take on, whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the only thing I liked about Into Darkness was just they had some good visual language moments. Like in terms of, remember in the beginning with the race they had to get the thing from, and they showed a shot of the
tribe, yes.
Yeah, and they showed a shot of the deflector array up close now.
Yeah.
When it was rising out of the water, and I was like, yeah, that shit look cool.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like same thing with Into Darkness when you later on when you see the other ship, the other bigger ship, I forget the big name of the other bigger Federation ship, and they show the shot, and then they show a shot right behind the Enterprise next to the ship, and then they show the size of the deflector array being so much bigger now.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. You had its moments where it really worked in that way, but again, the overall plot and script just didn't work, and it was really dumb.
All right, well, teach his own.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. Again, entertaining from that action standpoint, but still a dumb movie, dumb as hell. And it was just damn offensive ripping off Ratakan that like that.
And one thing before we get into Beyond, I kind of didn't like the way how they roped in the old Spock into it. I saw what they were trying to do, where it's like, well, tell me about Khan. It's like, it just felt like a much unnecessary cameo.
But that was what's so stupid about that movie is that they don't know who Khan is, right? Why would you need to reference Khan in that way? He's saying Khan, and I was like, well, yeah, but Kirk never met you before. Another problem is that they come up with this flimsy bullshit reason that how they get Khan because they had scout ships or some bullshit like that. And I was like, wait, but the Enterprise is supposed to be the cutting edge exploration technology of the Federation. So how come they find that shit before Khan? And they find it years ahead. You know, the Khan and Kirk and them are supposed to be like way out there to find Khan, you know. So how they find Khan so easy? Whatever. Bullshit.
Yeah, right. So cut a few years later actually.
Yes.
What happened? Leonard Nimoy passed away, unfortunately. Rest in peace.
3 years passed, yeah.
Yeah, and then we got Star Trek Beyond, latest, the third entry in this new reboot of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just want to run through the premise quickly?
Right. So Kirk is roughly 3 years into his 5-year mission. Mm-hmm. The Enterprise is going on, and Kirk has a kind of bit of an existential awe going on with himself. He's a little down and out. He kind of don't know if he keep going on, and everything getting a little redundant and thing. And so they decide to just have some shore leave to a starbase called Yorktown. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most cutting edge, if not the most cutting edge starbase they have, which I really love the design of this place.
Yeah. It had that kind of, it reminded me a lot of Interstellar, the way how that, the city that they created at the very end, how that looked.
Yeah. Right. So it was great. It felt like it looked like a, what do you call that when you have multiple rings spinning around itself, a gyroscope.
Yeah.
That gyroscope feel because each ring was a city on itself, and it had multiple rings referencing each other, and then all of that spinning with gravity in a big bubble. And I love the design of this place. They had Shore Aglashu in the movie. Yay! I love her. Yeah, she was the admiral or the vice admiral of the station, if I remember correctly. I think she was the admiral of the station.
Right. I remember again. She's from which one? Deep Space Nine, right?
A bunch of shit. No, Shore Aglashu, she does this deep voice. She's this deep voice Iranian woman.
Oh, right. That woman that you mentioned from, is it the Shiraz movie?
September's of Shiraz, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
She's in the Expanse as well, which is an excellent sci-fi show.
Need to check that out too. Hearing a lot of good things about it. Yeah.
Yeah, great show. Yeah, and then she's she's currently I think she's the voice of a character in very very popular video game right now, Overwatch. She plays Anna, which is basically a Middle Eastern older woman. So same thing. Okay. And she's Admiral Ran in Mass Effect as well. But yeah, love her. She always does great stuff, and she was a nice little character in this. And she was kind of just telling Kirk about what it feels like to be a captain and how you should operate things, and how the vast beyond the space will kind of get to you. Mm-hmm. And and she how Kirk was going to try to basically he wanted to kind of retire from the Enterprise and kind of just go on a starbase. It was kind of getting to him. And then Spock now, great character piece as well. Spock now finds out Admiral Spock is dead. So now
the old Spock basically.
Yeah, the older Spock. And what ended up happening is that he kind of want to leave. He apparently is broken up with Uhura, and he kind of wants to go on and go to New Vulcan and just operate with that time and live with them instead of and kind of continue the Vulcan race, because the Vulcan race is now kind of suffering now. So he has to he seemed to have a kind of sense of duty now. Him being with some outsider is a kind of a big problem, which I knew they had to address, and they did, and I'm really glad that they did. Really, really smart. And they did a bunch of great character piece. A kind of small, just a small aside. Well, it was hyped as controversy, but it's actually not really a big deal in the movie. They make the Hikaru Sulu character gay in this one.
And I saw they did that. That was like a quick little hint at it. I was like, oh, I saw what they did. Yeah, that was clever. All right.
Here's the thing. Apparently, George Takei himself says that the character is not gay. And, according to him, the character isn't gay. So that was like a change they made. And again, I don't really mind either way, but it was a change that was kind of unwarranted and unnecessary. Because George Takei himself said, look, the character isn't gay. George Takei is super gay. We know that in real life. So if he himself, wants to remain and keep the character in that sense, to me, I find they should have kept those wishes, but whatever.
I wonder why they did that. Maybe it has to do with what we mentioned before with Ghostbusters, right?
A little bit, yeah, probably.
Trying to pander to... Anyway, moving on.
Whatever. Point is, anyway, sighting. And then, they get a distress call and help from some alien who comes to the space station asking for help. They need to find the persons who's pretending to have a scientific expedition, and they crash land on this planet, and then the Enterprise is attacked by these drones, and the Enterprise is essentially destroyed. And they have to find it was a weapon that the villain was looking for. The villain played by Idris Elba, looking for this device that was highlighted in the beginning of the film on the Enterprise, and they basically crash land on this planet. And then they have to deal with this villain, who apparently wants revenge on the Federation because reasons. Again, another character that's similar to that.
Yep. I hate the Federation. Again.
But here's the problem. This character could have been out of all of the villains like this. This was the character who could have been the most interesting, but it just didn't flesh out the character enough. And
they didn't give it enough time too, because it's really like near the end of the two. You kind of got some backstory.
When they explain them, I was like, wait, I have more questions though.
Yeah, and it leaves them hanging like.
And another problem I had is that anybody could have played this. They totally wasted Idris Elba in this movie.
Oh, as you mentioned, it's kind of funny that you see him with his makeup, and props to the makeup people once again.
Yeah.
One thing this show really gets well, and I know it won an Oscar for the first one, is makeup. My God, makeup is great. But is that you see Idris in this makeup at first when he's introduced, but near the end there's like this footage or whatever, and you see him looking normal. I'm like, yeah, they kind of just did that because Idris. You just had to tell people, this guy is really Idris Elba. It's like,
right, but that was the problem. Okay, so. Now, I understood why everything happened there. So, it was explaining why he was changing, because they explained that earlier with this. He had some device that could allow him to, suck life force from people. So, that's why he could live so long.
So, kind of like Shang Tsung or that wizard guy from Warcraft.
Right, basically. And what they did with it was they mentioned an ex-ship. So, he's from the time of Archer. It's before the Federation was formed. Roughly seemed to exist, or roughly, the character is about 150 years old or so. And the NX ship is basically an Archer type ship now. So the ship they were flying in the ending, the Beastie Boy ship I call it.
Yeah, we'll get to Beastie Boys in a little bit.
That whole ship looks exactly like the NX style Enterprise, which is the ship you see from Star Trek Enterprise essentially. So they did that. I thought the story was good. It was really funny. Everybody had great chemistry together, especially Bones and Spock. They introduced a new character, Jayla. She was pretty good.
Yeah, she's played by that same woman, I forgot the name, who was in Kingsman, great movie. And I thought that she was a great character in this one here.
I liked her in this.
Yeah, fine. Well, I mean, she's a good side character. She isn't given too much time, but when she's there, she owns it.
Yeah, I liked it as well. But yeah, again, the sad part is that they could have given it, and they just need to flesh out the villain a little bit, because the concept of the villain is quite a fascinating concept. I actually really like that concept of the villain of being, he's an old soldier who can handle the future now. And it's about the future versus the past in terms of warfare, and not being able to give up and not even accept peace now, in that sense, now, even if you win the war.
I see what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
I like that idea, but it needed more fleshing out.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with you. It's just this wasted potential with this villain. He could have been, even greater than Khan. Yeah. But, it's just kind of playing against the same, cliche now where, yes, I hate the Federation. I'm ugly. I'm gonna sound and look threatening and that's what he comes up. Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Idris. I mean, he is fine in this. And wow, let me just for a quick second, let's just talk about just the amount of work this man put in this year. I mean, 4 films this man has been in. Yeah. Star Trek Beyond, Zootopia, Jungle Book, and to extend Finding Dory. Wow.
Right.
But yeah, in this one I just felt like, as a villain, I agree with you. They could have gotten somebody else, somebody different.
It could be anybody else. I mean, that's the problem, is that if you're doing somebody like Idris Elba, yeah, get him on some scenes, get him on some shots, some real FaceTime now. They did that with Benedict Cumberbatch, in the last movie, and he was terrible in that sense. Well, at least from a writing standpoint. I thought he was fine as an actor.
Teach his own.
Yeah, he was fine as an actor, but the writing was so stupid and retarded, in my opinion.
I think that's the reason why I like him so much, because of his acting, because he sold it to me.
Okay.
But one thing though, just a minor nitpick with me, I felt that, yes, you're rebooting the whole franchise, so I felt that, they could have explored familiar worlds that, we familiar with, as it did before, talking about Khan, even if you're not familiar too much about, if you haven't seen Rata Khan, you would have heard that Khan or saw that clip of William Shatner doing that, famous Khan line. So it would draw interest, from non-Trekkie fans to, go and check out the old series. So I thought that with this new one, we'd have gotten to see more, of that world from the previous TV series and movies, especially like with the Klingons, which it just introduced kind of briefly in part 2. But, in this case, we get this new world with these new characters. And in that respect, I see that they were trying to go. And even Kirk kind of mentioned it, his journeys feel episodic. So this film itself feels like an episode of, like, let me just say, this is a Star Trek series. It feels like a one-off episode to me.
Yeah,
new world, new characters in this situation, you crash land or whatever. Yeah. Now you have to survive and get out. That's it.
Yeah. But this is the movie that they should have done from the start, in my opinion. I mean, if you're gonna do that and reboot everything, let's do a hard reboot and let's give us this, because this felt more like a TV show, but the old TV show, but with good special effects. And
I'll give credit to Simon Pegg, who co-wrote the script as well too.
Yeah.
So you could tell that he just going back to that TV show. He wants to create that vibe.
Yeah, and it was great in that sense. They had some. I just thought they had a lot of great character moments, like when Bones and Kirk had a little drink together. Love that scene.
Yeah, and I love Bones, of course, played by Carl Urban, fantastic as well too. He's one of my favorite characters in this.
Funny in this, yeah.
Yeah, I love the back and forth he has with Spock.
With Spock, it was great.
In terms of characters, so I just felt that Uhura was underused in this one.
Again, edit. I get the feeling that they cut some stuff from the movie, so she should have a little longer, because it had a part where I think she escaped from Kroll. Which is the character's name is Balthazar.
Right, I remember. Mm-hmm.
Kroll. Well, his name is Kroll, but his real name is Balthazar Edison. Yeah, but I thought she apparently escaped and then she rescued Spock later. I was like, that jump a little fast for me.
And
so
then go on, sorry.
So I get the feeling that they should do a little more fleshing out. Like I get the feeling that the movie should be like 15 minutes longer or so.
Yeah, and then there was this one moment. It sticks out like a sore thumb actually, where you see Scotty, played by Simon Pegg again, in this position where he's leaning off a cliff. So you're kind of going back to the first film, of course, with Kirk and blah blah blah, and then they cut to something else, and then all of a sudden you see him walking in the forest, and it's easy to say, well, somehow he got back on land, all right, fine, but show us how now. I mean, come on. Yeah. So just give us this shot that he really looks like something out of Fast and Furious. I'll get to the director as well too.
Yeah.
But still, show us how he got out of this situation, man. We ought to set up. You just cut the next scene. Come on.
Right. And the thing is, some of the camera work as well, it was really the choices of, Justin Lin, the director of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah, he did parts 3 to 6.
Right.
I thought he did a great job with those, except for 4. I hate 4, but
right.
I'm 3. I could care for 3.
With this film worked for the most part. In terms of the shots, like it had this really kick-ass shot where the Enterprise was leaving the starbase, and you see the starbase just disappearing in the back.
I remember that was cool.
Solid shot. I thought. It was overall pretty good in terms of, and then our next shot when the Enterprise was crashing into the planet. Love that scene as well.
Yeah. I just love the fact that he didn't have to rely so much on J.J. Abrams' visual style and stuff, stuff that looked familiar.
That's
it's like, I need to do it just like he did.
Abrams personally, I think, has a stronger visual language skill over Lin. Lin didn't really have anything that really was that impressive in this movie per se. Whilst I'll say Abrams really had a couple moments in his last 2 movies that was really, really impressive.
But the advantage that JJ had is because he reboots anything, just like what he did with Star Wars, Force Awakens.
Yeah. So it's just a kind of but it worked for you. I'm just talking about from a raw visual language standpoint. Just
understood.
look. And say what I want about lens flare. Yeah, lens flare is something that is totally work in Star Trek for me because you'll see a light source where it should be.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people.
I don't hate the lens flare thing. Lens flare thing is well played out, and especially J.J. Abrams well played it out.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, he played it out in particular. But for Star Trek, it looks fine because you'll see a star or something like a sun in the background, or maybe some big light source with a ship. So it makes some sense for me and why it works. But again, I don't really mind. Anyway, but this movie I thought was so positive. It was a great future. It was I had a lot of fun with it. All this stuff linking Spock to the future, and then that last scene with Spock was great.
Yeah, and also like how they kind of pay tribute to to Leonard Nimoy just by simply mentioning that he passed away.
Yeah,
and just seeing how this new Spock once again played excellently by gosh, I'm forgetting.
Siler.
Yeah, by Siler. Oh gosh, from Heroes. Yeah, played brilliantly. I just like how you kind of saw how he felt in terms of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. One thing I also like too is just the fast pace, especially with the action. And I have to mention that whole Beastie Boys scene. I like the first throwback song because every Star Trek movie apparently has to have some throwback to
So they had a Fighty Power.
Yeah, so they had Fighty Power from Public Enemy, best rap song ever.
I was trying to think of what the sci-fi reference was, and then I was like, it's from the album Fear of a Black Planet. I was like,
oh yes. You picked
I was like,
that.
okay,
wow.
Cool. That's a kind of clever little.
Props to you, Jed. You actually remember that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite albums as well too.
Right, and I was like, all right, cool. I thought it was when they started playing music, I thought they were going to play that Fighty Power song, but then they played the Beastie Boys song. That sequence.
We all thought we was gonna play Fighty Power. But
I thought so too, but whatever, it didn't matter. And she just picked a song now.
Yeah, and then she picked Sabotage, which they played in the first one. And I'll say this much. They could have
picked a callback to Cook.
Yeah, it's a callback, but I still personally think they could have picked a better song. Another song from Beastie Boys' discography. I mean, they did that in part 2. So why not just bring in a whole new song? I mean, they have made great songs all through their discography. But it was so dumb, but at the same time, because of just the flashiness of the action, I just shut my brain off and I just watch everything like
it was just a dumb silly sequence. Well, the two songs I thought they could have picked was either Sabotage, because Sabotage is it's Sabotage, they're sabotaging the enemy now.
Yeah.
And then it was a callback to Kirk because Kirk loves the song. He's playing the song, remember, in the opening sequence of Old Night.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Or they could have played Intergalactic.
I was going to say that.
Right.
Which is a way. That's one of my favorite Beastie Boys songs ever.
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect song to play.
Right.
Instead of Sabotage.
So I knew they were gonna play one or the other.
Yeah, but the Sabotage thing, like I said, it was silly, but I just shut my brain off. It was
silly, but it worked. I mean, it was the typical what I call techno-babble, which is a mixture of techno-babble and Trek, which is the Trek people just talking as a bullshit to solve a problem. So you'll have 5-6 characters in a row, say a bunch of ridiculous nonsense, techno-babble as we call it.
Yeah, is this classical music? I love that line.
Yeah. But they'll like they had to jury rig something quick now. You had to jury rig something real quick and to solve the problem. So you're like, if you do the capacitors and then you solve the to solve this problem, and then the power of music saves us.
Yeah.
At the end. And it was so silly, but it was still well done. And then
I like that part. I know some people would get to them like this is stupid, but it's one of those things you just enjoy. It's dumb fun. Yeah. That's the best way to describe it.
Especially part when the space station started playing the song and it just and just blast everything. I was like, all right, that was fun. That was really well done. And the final action sequence was pretty badass with the zero gravity stuff. I thought that worked.
Yeah, it was.
I thought that totally worked. And then when the ship was flying, going in the water, and it picked up itself, and great action, all these kind of things. I enjoyed the movie. I had fun with it.
I enjoyed it too, just not as much as I wanted to, and I really don't want to compare it to Into Darkness. I'm not saying, of course, Into Darkness is not better than this one here. I would say as a sequel, for what they do as sequels being darker, I enjoyed Into Darkness a little bit more. But for the whole summer fun vibe that Beyond was going for, totally on board, totally enjoyed it.
Now, for me, this was much better than Into Darkness. I prefer this over that. Into Darkness lose so much points because of the rip-off Ratakan. That's a major problem.
Understood.
That's the major problem. I couldn't that was intolerable for me.
Yeah, but I think they stepped up on that. They tried to tell this original story I just felt that they could have just expanded the world, like just try to do, not really try to do, but just the familiar things, just a little bit more of the familiarity from the older films, like I said, Klingon, explore that thing,
No, yeah, like they did their own thing with this. Like I would have liked to see a Klingon or two, but well, small thing. Like what they did with just doing general aliens. Like we don't need to know the aliens we're familiar with. I was fine with that. And then I just left it at that. It's fine with me ultimately.
One thing before we get to our rating.
Yeah.
Just between you and me, just wondering, right? I noticed with the last two movies, they don't really stress too much on the aliens. So it's not like Next Generation, we're expecting to see, a Klingon here or this there or that there. So, is that intentional? Is that how the series is supposed to be, or is that just some creative decision? Or am I just kind of reading too much into things?
No, the original series was supposed to be like that. The original series was about just learning about new aliens all the time. And then they say, well, it have a couple things that they mention, like Romulans or Klingons or something like that. You have a couple common aliens, but for the most part, you're supposed to be, seeking new life and exploring new civilizations. And that's what I liked about this movie. It's like, we get to see that. We get to see a bunch of new aliens we never see before.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why if you compare it to the original series, it works for the most part. Right. Again, it's really unfortunate they couldn't flesh out the character a little better, because the character does reference a lot of canonical stuff. Like he mentions fighting the Romulans and the Xindi, which was
okay, I didn't pick up on
that. The Xindi were villains in Star Trek Enterprise, were big villains actually in Star Trek Enterprise. And then of course the Romulans, who was kind of villains, which kind of overall villains in the Star Trek universe. I don't know what they're going to do for the next film, but I saw that I get the feeling that next film might be the last film, because all these actors going to start moving on to other projects and these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean Chris Pine and this upcoming Wonder Woman movie, I know he's going to be roped into
that. Yeah.
Or will he be actually? Because remember, that's a period piece, but I don't know.
It'll be. I don't think he's going to get a Steve Trevor TV show like say Agent Carter. But yeah, he probably will just get one movie if anything. But he might get. I don't think they'll give him a Steve Trevor or anything more. At most, he might get a flashback or two in any future movies involving Wonder Woman. So that might be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really see him. So it's just with Wonder Woman. But no, it's just the franchise is going to be moving on, and they're going to have to recast Anton Yelchin.
Of course, we forgot to mention about him. Yeah. I mean, he's solid in his role. I just find he was a little underused, but then again, he's just the guy in the back anyway. He's always like that anyway.
Yeah. The Chekhov character was small and it was relatively easy to write the character out. So I don't think they'll recast him. I just think they'll write him out if anything.
Yeah, which
I doubt they'll recast him. I highly doubt they'll recast him. They'll just write off the character and say, okay, Chekhov, Ensign Chekhov has transferred to whoever, right? That is to write out. Okay. And I said I don't expect any extra movies. Zachary Quinto, this girl, she gonna move
Zachary
on.
Quinto, how could I forget that name? Jeez.
Right, yeah. And it's that's it. I mean, it's a shame that this movie should have been the first in the franchise. This villain is what Khan should have been, or what what's his name? Not Nero, just the actor Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah, who he should have played. Okay.
He should have that. This is the character he should have been, not Khan. It should have been something like this.
Where's a different. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't mind the idea of the old soldier and then the old soldier being screwed over now. I don't mind that, but don't do it in this crappy way now.
Yeah. In a weird lazy self-referential kind of way, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't work at all. Whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I really like this movie. They should have fleshed out and have a couple stuff done a little better, but that's for the most part. Yeah. But yeah, I really like this. I am going to rate it right now.
Please do.
Give this movie a low IMAX.
All right.
Mostly because the visuals are quite good and it deserves an IMAX look, because that's why I went to see it. This was pretty damn awesome for me. I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right. I would give it a light 4 out of 5 stars. Enjoyed it for what it was. Just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Maybe I went to it with really high expectations, but the episodic vibe of it caught me completely off guard. But for what it's worth, with what Justin Lin did, I thought he did a very great job. So I can't wait to see what he does with the next one, if he even decides to do another one in this. I hope he get the next one if he could perfect his craft, because there's only real weakness for these movies. Well, other than the script stuff and the edit stuff, is I find his camera angles a little weak, a little not particularly underwhelming. Yeah.
You could have the cameras moving around a little better, especially for some of the action and thing.
Yeah.
compared to J.J. Abrams, the space action wasn't as that impressive. It was good, but not as engrossing as
okay. Well, it didn't feel as big as possible. It just felt
right. And I would like to see more space stuff in this now, because space stuff in this was good, but it could have been more.
All right, understood. And just in conclusion, props to Justin Lin for doing his thing, for actually moving from the Fast and Furious franchise to this franchise here. But just like James Wan, it's a shame that now you're in this new franchise and someone who's involved in it dies. It's really a shame.
Yeah.
But for what they had, they worked well. Basically, he worked with what he had, But then again, in Justin's case, the film I think pretty much was done before Anton passed away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so he had an advantage.
It's not like Anton Yelchin was anywhere near as crucial to the franchise as Paul Walker was. So it's not like
but his presence is still there, and it's it will live on. Trust me. Yeah. So rest in peace to Anthony Yelchin.
Yeah, and Leonard Nimoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Greatest ever do it, by the way. No offense to Zachary.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much about it for our podcast. So, Ricardo, where can we find you online?
Yes, you can find me Ampersat RMEDDY on Twitter, and then just type in Ricardo Medina on Facebook. You can find me. That's pretty much that.
All right. Well, in my case, you can find me on Twitter. Just look for Legally Black MJB in capital letters. Sorry. Also, you could find me on Facebook. Just type in Matthew Bailey, and also a Legally Black blog official fan base, where you can see the link to this podcast here, as well as the other podcasts that myself and Ricardo have done.
Yeah.
And also my written reviews as well too are up there as well. All right. So in closing, shows to look forward to. Well, let's see Season Born coming up.
But that opened today actually. So
today at the time of this recording.
I didn't see it today, but I was a little too sleepy and I was feeling too.
I will definitely check it out. I mean, like I said in the last podcast, Matt Damon, Paul Greengrass, who could go wrong?
Right.
Yeah, so at least I have enough time. I'll probably check it out on the Saturday, so I have enough time to catch up on the old films, because believe it or not, I haven't seen these films in a long while, especially the second and the third one, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the Bourne Legacy. I actually skipped it because I heard it wasn't really all that, but I'm curious. I'm older now, so I really want to see what went wrong and see how they kind of fixed up with this one here.
Yeah, this franchise kind of wear and thin for me because again, it's such a post 9/11 franchise that you don't give a shit now.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's without 9/11 in the background, is a movie that they don't really care. I couldn't see me caring about it as much.
I know we have something like Mission Impossible, which will just like easily blow this franchise right out of the water. So
right,
it's how they're gonna hold up to something like that. How they're gonna hold its ground in 2016? Well, we'll see.
Right.
There's also Lights Out, which I'm hearing really good things about.
Okay.
Really short and sweet, if I could call it that, horror flick.
It's supposed to be based on some YouTube video or something like that. Or
a short film. It's like about 3 minutes long. Trust me, check it out. It is awesome.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that last scene, if you're not looking out for it, will make you jump. Trust me on that. Yeah. Is there anything? Suicide Squad, which unfortunately I'm not gonna get to see on the opening weekend because I'll be out of the country. But when I'm back for sure, then we're gonna talk about that. So that'll just be a week after the release. So you can look out for our review of that. I am psyched for it. I'm not gonna go in with too high of expectations, but I mean, compared to Batman v Superman, yes, I made that comparison before you. I actually have high hopes for this one. I think it's gonna work. It's not gonna be probably
I hope
it will, but
I hope it'll be good too.
Yeah.
A couple of movies. I want to see Nerve. I heard that was alright. Interesting.
I only saw like the poster for Nerve. I have no idea what Nerve is about.
Right. I heard that gonna get I think that coming in trailer, so we might get a chance to see that. And it has some couple of documentaries something coming up because now I'm starting to build up my list for best of the year. A movie called Tickled I hear is quite good. We're gonna get it. Yeah. That's a documentary. So I heard really good things.
Sounds like a documentary about pedophiles or something.
Nah. It's a really strange documentary that builds up from what I understand. I heard it's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Netflix has a couple of shows lined up for August. The titles escape me right now, but I know there's a couple that I'm really interested in. So, and then there's some TV shows that will be concluding. One of them is a horror series I've been hearing about called Outcast. It's on Cinemax. I've been hearing good things about that. Then also Preacher from EMC, which is almost coming to an end. So, once that 10th episode is done, I'm just going to pick a day, binge all 10 episodes, and then, do a review of that. So I kind of suggest that you do that as well, too. I don't know if you have started watching it or not, but,
Right.
Yeah, so you can look out for those as well, too, next month.
Good.
Yeah, and other than that, really nothing else I can think of, really, so that's about it. Any closing words, Ricardo?
Not really. Nothing major. Just Comic-Con was awesome. I didn't follow it too much. The big entertainment nowadays is the American elections. I spent time on that.
Yeah, we should do a review of that.
Yeah,
although others really try to stay clear of politics, both at home and abroad. But I don't know, maybe some crazy stuff might happen with this American elections. I know a couple of rappers are really expressing their hate for for Donald Trump. Actually, there's one example comes to mind. Before coming home to do this recording, I was listening to this YG album. Came out this year. Well, YG is a rapper. He brought a West Coast rapper. Sorry, he brought an album this year called Still Breezy, Breezy, not crazy, breezy.
Yeah.
And there was this one song on it called FDT. All I'll just say is DT means Donald Trump.
Right.
You could figure out what F is.
Right.
I was just bumping that song, just listening to that on my way home. I was like, yeah, that chorus is catchy, but yeah, that's pretty much how people think about him at the moment. Well, most people, some people, not all,
Right.
Yeah.
Just a general interesting kind of back and forth. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. That's
if something crazy happens, I guess we could talk about it. But until then, we'll see.
All
right. So yeah, that's pretty much about it, guys. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This is Match Bailey alongside
me, Ricardo Medina.
And this has been another episode of Bears, Beats, and Bailey. So we're signing off. Take care. Later. Peace.
Later. Yeah.